Hello, 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 everyone. This is me, Suris, and together with me I have Derek, my new best friend.
New best friend, mate. We've been best friends for months now.
Yeah, ages, basically.
Ages and ages.
My new childhood friend,
How
Okay,
are you doing, man?
yeah, I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you. I had a very good time watching you in the playoffs over
Oh,
last weekend, now that you're a superstar.
oh, right. I'm a star. Yeah, like hell I am. Okay, okay, so we are about to start the Zotac Cup finals.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically 8 players that qualified through the qualifiers. I think it's Open Cup tournaments, right?
Yes, that's right. So there were four qualifiers over the past few weeks, and the top two from each of those four qualifiers got to this point, which is the finals. And now we've already had the quarterfinals off stream, and you are joining us right now for the semi-finals. And our first match is going to be between Ignite and Barracuda.
Yes. So the players are in the banning phase, I think.
I think
They
so.
started. They started.
They're in a game at the moment, and I'm not sure if this is a test game or.
Okay. So let's see. I don't know. They are playing.
I These seem like
Is
some
this?
pretty good decks, so maybe you would want to ban these, but who knows?
I'm just asking them if this is the game because. Oh, so yeah, they are playing already. Okay, so we skipped a bit, but it's only the first game, so.
No worries. Yep, just a tiny bit into the first game, we can see already this is clearly a hunter deck. The kind of, I imagine, the more mid-range rather than a pure aggro variant, because we can already see Savannah High Main up against a very, very aggressive deck in Ignite's aggro Druid, off to a blisteringly fast start. Doesn't really get much better than this.
Right. I'm just working about a bit with overlays, so
No worries.
okay.
Just let me know when I'm on cam so I know when to pick my nose.
You're not anymore on cam. Feels
Brilliant.
bad. Okay.
So, taking some value trades here is Ignite, realizing that if he's going to win this game, he's going to have to not only get a nice aggressive start, but he's also going to have to keep that board presence for a good long while. And I appear to be having a small spectator issue, but I'll be jumping back into the game anyway.
Yeah, for me it's all good.
All good?
Yes.
Brilliant.
So, as we can see, this is. What do you think? Which class is favorite? Is it Token Druid or a mid-range Hunter? I think it's mid-range because I see a Savannah High Main.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think unless the Hunter can get somehow off to an incredibly powerful, fast start, the aggro Druid just has to be favoured, because this matchup is all about seizing early board control, and the Druid is just going to do such a better job of that, especially when they get an incredibly powerful Mark of the Lotus off in the early turns.
Yes, I totally agree. I think there is one thing that might help also. It's Unleash the Hounds, which is really strong card against the flooded boards. But it's quite hard to make the swing turn. Like before, there was like Juggler Unleash, which would clear the boards. Now Juggler and Hyena is like alternative because maybe you don't clear the full board, but you make the very big threat that druids can't really deal with easily.
Got you. Okay, I'm just having a little bit of a spectator issue, so I'm going to reload the client. So you take over just for 2 seconds while I get back in.
Okay, so Ignite dropped the Fledgling, which is like Doctor 3 nowadays, and it's really strong, and as we can see that Barracuda, the hunter, can't really deal with it. There's no way. He didn't have a bow in hand, maybe doesn't even run one in his deck. So it's really scary because it can get a lot of different adaptations, and it's basically game winning if uncontested. And Ignite decides to go aggressively, just to save all the HP on his minions. He decides to use the Savage Roar to push some extra damage and clear the 1-2 with his face.
Right. And still, even after all these trades, the aggro Druid is still looking to be in a very good spot indeed. And with that Savage Roar coming down, it's just going to be a hell of a lot of damage pushing towards the Hunter. And with absolutely no healing and minimal taunt as well, it feels like it's going to be pretty tough for Barracuda to come back in this game.
Yeah, the Barracuda's hand is really clunky. He has the combo of Unleash into Hyena, but basically you can't clear anything. You have to decide what to clear. Like, you can kill only one of the 2/2s. It's not that great. Well, the Hyena gets a bit, like, threatening, but you're pretty low, I think. You can just ignore it for now, until the opponent just Hound Masters it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Divine Shield seems really nice because, again, Hunter can't ping. His hero power goes only phase, so you can't ping down the shield, so unless he has second Unleash the Hounds, he's in a pretty bad spot. But how devastating would it be, the second Unleash here? It would be insane.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane. I mean, if you go for the Living Mana, that's 7 damage, and you're doubling it because
Wow.
that's 7 minions, so that would just be 14 at 8. Very, very close to just lethal on the spot.
Yeah. So Unleash might have been lethal. Maybe it was even guaranteed. I don't know. If there was a second Unleash in hand. Okay. So you can start picking your nose. I'm gonna show your face for a bit.
Okay.
Our both faces. Sorry.
I'm having a little bit of trouble with the spectator client once again.
Oh. For me, somehow it works perfectly today. I'm friends with Hearthstone.
Yeah, damn. I might have to ask you, if it doesn't work before the next series, to do a screen share with me instead.
Oh,
so
really? Okay.
I can see the game, because it just doesn't seem to want to let me look at both players, unfortunately.
Maybe you restart the client, or you did already.
Yeah, I did. I'm going to restart it again. I'm going to log out completely and have another shot.
We'll work something out.
Cool.
Okay, so it's Pirate Warrior versus the Evolve Shaman from Ignite's side, and Ignite is leading 1-0.
So in this matchup, you are running a little bit of Taunt in the Warrior deck, in the Shaman deck, aren't you? You've got your Stonehill Defenders, you're sometimes running in your Hot Spring Guardians, things like that. But overall, you've got to be pretty susceptible to Pirate Warrior unless you can keep up pretty well in the early game.
Yes, I think you're quite scared. If it wasn't like the Evolve version of the Shaman, I think you would have a better chance, because usually you have all those clears, more heals, more towns even, and if you play Evolve and all the Doppelgangster synergies, I think you have to cut at least some healing and some towns, so...
Right, of course.
But of course, if you survive till turn 6 and you just go for Doppelganger Evolve, you usually get a couple of tons.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Some kind of defensive option would be absolutely fantastic there. And even if you don't, you probably have so much power on the board that you can just fight back and kill your opponent over the next couple of turns.
Right. So far the game is still anyone's. They're playing really fast, and the Borax, having a Borax there is really crucial just to kill the 0-3 totem. Oh, the Stonehill Defenders, he's running those. Well, it makes sense. It has really nice synergy with the Evolve mechanic.
Yeah, you play a rubbishy little minion and then you evolve it and you feel absolutely fantastic then, especially because it can get you double taunt, which is fantastic against aggro. And finally, I can see both sides of the game. So I'm back in business.
Nice, nice.
So Devolve is actually pretty decent, even just against 1 or 2 minions like the Frothing Berserker here, because that's such a scary minion that you really, really feel you need to kill it. But maybe on this turn, you just load up on the board, as he's doing with the Doppelgangster, and then on the following turn, if you need to, you can go for the Devolve if he's got a big, scary board, but you could also just go for Bloodlust and push an insane amount of damage forward.
Yes, I really like going for the Doppelgangster there, because usually the newer players makes some mistakes and they don't go for, they don't want to waste the combo piece, you know? They save it for Evolve, which is really common rookie mistake, and just going for it and seeing the alternative line, how to contest the board is really, really nice.
And so here we can have a complete board clear with the Bloodlust, trade away the rubbishy little Bloodsail Corsair and 2 of your Doppelgangsters, and then you'll be left with board control. However, Ignite thinking Devolve into Maelstrom Portal is another fantastic way to clear the board, and it will also leave me with some more minions on the board, especially when your opponent gives you a very nice and easy Nat Pagel to deal with.
Yeah, you don't even have to deal with it, Matthias.
Don't even care about it.
He can fish all day.
Exactly, because on the following turn, you already have, 6, 7, 8 damage on board, plus 315, so this is easy peasy lethal coming up on the following turn, unless Barracuda is able to do some pretty serious board clears.
Yes, or yeah, he can't do anything. Interesting how this game turned out. Usually, the warrior is the one that applies the pressure, but somehow it wasn't the explosive beginning for Barracuda, and he couldn't apply too much pressure. So
Exactly. Just with the power of Maelstrom Portal early on, it was just not enough early game pressure from the Pirate Warrior, and then there was just too much value from Ignite's deck in the mid game. And is this not lethal?
I didn't count, so we can count after it. So 4, 5, 6, and
12. I think that was lethal.
wait.
6 and 12? 18?
Yeah. Well, was he? I think he was more than 18 HP. No. Oh no, he was.
He was at 18, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, never mind. So obviously that was, I think, a missed lethal from Ignite, but even ignoring that fact, he's probably... I still think there's nothing that Barracuda can do. That Earth Elemental is doing a fantastic job of protecting Ignite from any ridiculous shenanigans occurring, and also pushing forward a crazy amount of damage on his turn.
Yeah, it was a misplay not to go for the lethal. One thing that comes to my mind, because I lost one game on ladder once in my lifetime, I think.
You've only lost one game. Wow, impressive.
No. It was like I was playing against Pirate Warrior with I think my quest rogue. I think it was back a couple of weeks, and I lost against a Pirate Warrior that ran Brawl. And that's the only thing that could get you back in the game in this scenario. So
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what crazy person would run Brawl in Pirate Warrior, but
the kind of person who wins games, apparently.
Yeah. But definitely, you don't really need to play around it. Maybe he just, maybe he decides not to go for lethal. Maybe he didn't count. Maybe he just wants more information from opponent's decks because it's not last hero standing.
Very
it's
possible.
Conquest. So maybe it's just like next level plays. Who knows?
Or maybe he just couldn't be bothered to count it up and assumed he didn't have lethal. But either way, Ignite is going up to a 2-0 victory very, very quickly already.
Yes. Personally, I don't like the Shaman. Like, I haven't found the Shaman list that I like and I can confidently play and think that it's strong. But some people enjoy it. For example, now, like Evolve Shaman. It looked really strong against even one of the most consistent aggro decks.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
However, we can see from the bans that we've got, this is going to be a Paladin as the final deck from Ignite, and it's going to be going up once again against Barracuda's mid-range Hunter. So, it appears with the Grimscale Charm, this is going to be a pretty aggressive version as well, and with double Vilefin Inquisitor, this is an insane starting hand from Ignite already.
As you said before, like in every game, I think Hunter works similarly. If you get a really nice start and it's uncontested and you have the beast synergies, you can usually snowball the game and just finish off with your hero powers or the reach in your deck. But as we can see, Ignite has, as you said, 2 1-drops, which is really nice to contest the early board.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. The stat line of the Vilefin Inquisitor is absolutely perfect. That is, however, until that Scavenging Hyena comes down, which looks like it'll be very, very nice, able to get up to, a 6-4 right away? Pretty scary indeed.
Just because you don't clear the board, you might just skip one turn and play it next turn.
Okay.
Because there's no consecration possibilities and there's nothing to clear your board.
Yeah, the Paladin is not... What you see on board is usually what you're going to be going up against. No kind of weird tricks like Maelstrom Portal or Fiery War Axe to bring them back in the early turns. So it looks like it's probably going to be gearing up for a coin into Consecration on the following turn. And Ignite just needs to think about how best he can prepare for that. And I think that would probably end up just being a hero power.
Or just a very strong Hyena. Oh, I mean from Barracuda side, the Hyena will be really, really strong.
Yeah, this is an absolutely insane turn, and this is exactly what he needs. He's protecting himself from the Consecration by cashing in all his minions just to beef up the Hyena, and that is already an 8/5 minion on turn 3, which is unbelievably difficult for Ignite to deal with. He's going to have to load up massively on the board here in the hope that he can fight back on the following turn. And he can do that pretty well by going Grimscale Chump, coin Bluegill Warrior. On the following turn, he has the option of either the Gentle Megasaur or the 5/5 Murloc Warleader.
if he didn't coin, he could have gone for War Leader coin Bluegill next turn, so that was still an option.
Right. Oh, just going for the hero power instead. I suppose you're only missing out on 1 damage of minion stats, and the 2 damage to face is probably fairly irrelevant. But Barracuda actually could have thought there about going for the attack first in the hope of getting the stealth, but this works out fantastically for him.
Yeah, that's very
so much damage.
But I think now Paladin can stabilize.
Yes.
Barracuda decided to cash in on the damages from his hyena, and of course he didn't contest the board. He didn't even try to save his hyena, but he put on 16 damage to opponent's face. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and now that he's drawn the Eagle Horn bow, he can just smash everything to the face for the next couple of turns, because he knows that Spike Ridge Steed is at least 1 turn away, so he doesn't even need to worry himself with killing this Grimscale Chum. And then unless there is some form of healing in the next turn or 2 from Ignite, this is over in Barracuda's favor.
Yes, and he has to go for a taunt here, and he gets it.
Yep, he hits it. Pretty impressive. However, even after that fact, the Savannah Highmane is the perfect card to drop down on turn 6. This game has been absolutely insane for Barracuda.
But do you go for Highmane? Maybe you go for the small minions and just hero power to cash in on that hero power, since your opponent is that low. If you guess that your opponent doesn't have any healing in his deck, that's I think that is the correct play, I think.
Interesting. I like your thinking, because you have them down to 7 health already, which means the only form of healing they're likely to have in this deck is the True Silver Champion.
Right.
So you're basically saying to them, you have to find that right now, or you're just going to be dead. But I guess with this line of play, it has the extra little benefit of being slightly better against fighting back on the board against Spike Ridge Steed.
Yes, and that's the power of Spike Ridge Steed, basically giving you 12 HP. And you can't really kill it, so now it's really hard to get through the taunt. So maybe you don't even try to get through the taunt and just try to get the hero powers. And
yeah, of course.
And maybe a kill command, because you still have 2 of those.
So Barracuda clearly really valuing fighting back on the board at this point, rather than going for the hero powers. And it looks like with double Hungry Crab being drawn, he's going to be in a fantastic position to fight back against the board, because both this Murloc War Leader, Vilefin Inquisitor, whatever's going to come down in the next turn or 2 in terms of Murlocs, is just going to be eaten up instantly by those hungry crabs.
I think my Hearthstone is bugged now. I should. Because I can't.
It's not our day, is it?
Yeah, it was okay till now. Let's try again.
However, earlier on, by going face with this Gentle Megasaur, it has meant that Ignite is all of a sudden threatening lethal on his opponent. So Barracuda is going to have to clear up a little bit of this board if he wants to stand a chance in this game. But the Hungry Crabs are going to be a pretty good way to do that, as well as that Unleash the Hounds to generate 4 damage to fight back against this board.
Oh, I swapped the... Okay, never mind. No, it's from a different perspective. Okay.
You weren't just insulting these players by saying, oh, their plays are so bad, the game must be bugged. No one would do this.
Oh, how this... Oh, okay. I missed, like, whole turn.
But yeah, as I was saying, this is all of a sudden starting to look an awful lot better for Barracuda with that pickup of Unleash the Hands. Because he can fight back pretty decently against this board and at least prevent lethal on this turn, because there are no Murlocs left on the board, so he knows that it's going to be no way of buffing up the attack of any of these minions without the potential of Spike Ridge Steed or the... actually, Spike Ridge Steed or Blessing of Kings, neither of which would actually close out this game. So in order to win on this turn, it would have to be Spike Ridge, it would have to be Blessing of Kings and Bluegill Warrior from Ignite. And he's halfway there.
Yeah, so he has War Leader into Bluegill, which is like 1 damage of lethal.
Or he could go Bluegill Warrior, Gentle Megasaur. Oh,
it's lethal.
Is that lethal?
Yes.
That's it. Wow.
And the inclusion of the new weapon, well, it's not new weapon, the Rallying Blade, which is not really that popular, wasn't popular for quite some time. Exactly why it's not True Silver Champion. It's 1 less mana, and it deals the 3 damage, which was needed at this exact spot.
Absolutely fantastic there from Ignite. Yeah, he was 1 off anyway, but that little bit of extra damage with the Rallying Blade is going to lead him to an incredibly fast 3-0 sweep.
Yeah. Pretty well played. Interesting decks so far. Not
Yeah.
really not standard Paladin, not standard Shaman, and what was the first game? The first match.
The first match, it was the Hunter against the Aggro Druid, which was just a pretty
Okay.
decisive stomp
Yeah.
from Ignites. But I think overall, in that last game especially, the better player won. Barracuda was a little bit shaky with going for Wind Fury at the start on the Hyena to get maximum damage, and then not following up with hero powers. It was a little bit of a confused game plan. He wasn't sure if he wanted to fight for the board or go for face damage, and I think he should have either gone for plus health on the Hyena and then follow up with board presence, or just go for Wind Fury and then hero power every single turn, and he probably would have ended up winning.
It's basically just maintaining your strategy for the game. If you decide one way, you should continue with it. Sometimes it's nice to switch it up, like, of course, high main on 6 is really strong. And if your opponent doesn't have the steed, you just win on the spot.
Yep.
But even, I think at that point, as you said, weaving the hero powers in would be like playing around the steed. So that was like a questionable play, but you can't play around everything. Maybe he thought that my opponent might have some healing, and then high main is more reliable.
Exactly, and throughout, Ignite had a very clear game plan. He put up the taunt and then just started smacking to face because he knew that if he was going to win that game, he'd have to do it pretty quickly to stand up against the inevitability of that Hunter hero power.
Okay, so I think we are about to have a small break before jumping into the next semifinal game. For what I know, I think they should be ready for now, or not. No, they are still waiting for one player. So it's going to be
Hero, our true hero.
And either it's Abel or Geronimo.
Yes, that is correct.
Geronimo. Nice nicknames. I like the hero.
It's good names today. Yeah.
Geronimo and the guy that is able to play. Okay. So, I will be back in just a bit, and see you guys soon. Thank you for watching.
Brilliant. See you then.
Okay, welcome back everyone. This is me, Suris, together with Derek.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Good
I'm-
break?
I'm great. Oh, I have a delay on your camera for some... Okay,
Oh,
never mind. No one's gonna see the camera after a couple of seconds. It's okay.
Exactly. I think we're jumping right in, aren't we? We're going to a quarter-final match. We decided we're going to the end of Abel up against who's his partner again? His opponent.
Geronimo.
Abel and Geronimo. That's right. To decide who's
Geronimo!
going to be in the semi-finals up against Hero. You have to say it like that every time you mention his name as well.
Yeah,
That's the
Geronimo!
Geronimo!
And will his opponent be able to beat the Geronimo? Those low-level puns from me. They never get
Very
old.
fun. Don't worry. Very funny indeed.
So it's only quarterfinal, right? Yeah, it's only a quarterfinal since I don't know what's even the score for them. I think if they update it live, then Geronimo is winning 1-0
Let's
because
have
we're jumping in the
a-
middle of the game, so we can't know the score. I think it's Geronimo.
I think we got. So there was first game, Warrior versus Mage. So if the Warrior won, that means Geronimo is 1-0 up.
Okay. Okay.
And this looks like this game has been going on for a pretty long time already. We've got, what, 2 cards left in the Warrior deck and 3 left in the Priest deck. And there's clearly been a Lyra pack opened. Wow, we've joined in the middle of a pretty insane game. And a Elise pack even opened, not a Lyra pack.
Yeah, I'll ask Geronimo to invite me to spectate. People are
Whoa!
paranoid.
There's another Ogoro pack. So he must have shadow visioned the first one, and now he's drawn the actual Ongoro pack. So it looks at the moment like this is looking pretty fantastic indeed for Geronimo. He's got a whole bunch of value. All he needs to do is protect himself against this Die Insect hero power. But at the moment, he's played his only minion in hand. Whew, the Power Tentacles is going to do a good job of making sure that this Elder Longneck doesn't die to the Ravaging Ghoul that's on board, but it does, however, mean that it will still die to the Die Insect hero power. So Geronimo is going to have to be praying that he gets something pretty decent off of this Ungoro pack. He does, however, have no way to dump any remaining cards in his hand in order to free up some room for whatever comes out of the Ungoro pack. So this is a remarkably close game.
Oh, nice, I got the invite from Geronimo at last.
Brilliant.
Okay, so so he still has a nice chance. It's a coin flip simulator, as they say. Just what the hero power hits really matters a lot. For now, I think he was happier if he hit the 7/7.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, he's afraid of dying, basically.
Yeah, and he can't kill his opponent in 2 turns. Of course, you make your opponent.
That's it. Dragonfire Potion's going to close out the game.
Nice.
Wow.
Too bad we didn't see all the game of this
Yeah.
match because it was really interesting. Usually it's not enough for Priest to outvalue the Warrior.
Yes.
And it's really interesting how this went out, and if there was any misplace or someone played really nicely, I wonder.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen. But now that Geronimo is 2-0 up, he has gotten rid of his Warrior and his Priest. He's going to be left with only a Paladin against Abel's Warrior, which we know to be a Taunt Warrior, his Mystery Paladin, and his Mystery Mage.
Okay. Mystery.
Mystery, not secret. You don't know that it's secret mage. Even though it's a secret what mage this is, it's not a secret mage, confusingly. It could be.
The mysterious mage.
Mysterious mage.
I hadn't heard of any of those 2 players, I think.
No, I don't believe I've heard of them before, but very possible that they're big open cup grinders in order to have made it to this stage in the tournament.
Yes. No, not many luckers out there like myself. I tried playing in one of those. I recommend everyone. It was fun. I made quite far, but not far enough, I guess.
Not far enough. I mean, both of these players are legend. We can see Geronimo is a wild legend, whereas Abel is regular standard legend. So we know that these are at least proficient players, at the very least.
Right.
good enough to make it to Legend. And starting off, Abel is also good enough to draw Mana Worm and Frostbolt, and also Babbling Book, a pretty fantastic starting hand to get things going.
Yes, and it shows that it's probably the Gunter Mage.
Yes, I would agree. Well, Babbling Book is interesting. I think that's kind of making its way out of Secret Mage and is out of Gunther Mage, and is maybe in the more faster Secret Mages. However, there was a Volcanic Potion, so yeah, I think overall you're probably right. This is a Gunther Mage.
Yeah. I like Babbling Books and Gunter Mages. It fills a nice spot, and it really works wondrous in a mirror matchup.
Yeah, very, very possible, especially if you can get a good helping of RNG to get you the nice spells that you need.
And to think about it, it's even really good against Dirt Rat, which is not the case in this matchup. But yes.
Very true. So the pickup of the Rockpool Hunter is absolutely fantastic from Geronimo. Makes his board incredibly scary right from the get-go. Even a Frostbolt on its own will not be able to clear up this board. So I'd be unsurprised if we see Frostbolt, Coin, Babbling Book. Or I suppose you go for Babbling Book first to see if you get anything else.
Right.
However, Frostbolt, Coin, Babbling Book in some order will do a fantastic job of completely clearing up this board and leaving you with a Babbling Book as well. Pyroblast is a pretty interesting card to get, to say the least.
Right. He could have decided even to go slower and just go Coin Ice Block and just follow it up with Medivh because opponent can't remove your Ice Block. But then you leave a Murloc, which can be buffed in a couple of different ways, which is not nice.
So over the next couple of turns for Abel, he's got obviously Ice Block into Medivh's Valet on the following turn. But this Stonehill Defender is pretty pesky at dealing very efficiently with his Babbling Book and leaving something behind for Geronimo.
Yes.
I think Geronimo is pretending he's got a difficult choice here to confuse Abel, but Tyrion is definitely the pick here.
Yeah, you usually don't want to insta-pick a card from the defender, because if you insta-pick, your opponent knows like 100% that you get a Tyrion or Taryn, because there's nothing else you insta-pick, I think.
Right, yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely worth at least always just waiting for about 10 seconds, and then no matter what you've got, your opponent will be left none the wiser. But now a pretty interesting decision. These are three of the best secrets you can get against Mage. Eye for an Eye is obviously always pretty fantastic to work around the Ice Block. But as for the Getaway Coder, that's a nice way to generate a lot of value if you can get it on either the Tyrion, maybe even the Stonehill Defender. So I think overall, the Noble Sacrifice probably isn't going to be doing enough. So just going for the adding stuff to your hand plan, because he's thinking, if I don't get my opponent down to 1 health, it doesn't matter that I've got an Eye for an Eye. So I'd rather go for the Getaway Coder to make sure I get to that point.
Yeah, well, I don't like this. Personally, as a Mage player, the Eye for an Eye is really annoying, and it's like a win condition on its own. And usually, at some point, you stop. You can't deal with the board from the Paladin. There's this point that it's Vaps, and you have to go for the face, and usually you're at least at half HP when you start ignoring your opponent's board, and then the Eye for an Eye shines, and I think you always pick it, even though
that's actually a pretty good point.
Yeah, the Gateway Kodo is not the must. You don't run out of value as a Paladin. I don't think. Since you even got the Tyrion from your Discover, so you have like 2 Tyrions in your deck, which is quite clunky, I think.
Yeah, you're already looking to be well ahead in the mid to late game value battle, because Abel really doesn't actually have too much to do in the coming turns. The Arcane Intellect will be very nice to draw a little bit deeper in the deck, maybe find that Elise pack early on, but for the moment, Geronimo's in a pretty fantastic spot to just push forward on this board.
I don't like that either.
You don't like the trade?
Yeah, well, the trade is okay, but see, he didn't play the Steed on 6 mana. It's like...
You get a really nice trade though.
And you decided to hero power when you have a Gateway Kodo.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, why?
That's true. Yeah, so potentially quite a few decisions already that you would have made differently to Geronimo.
Yeah. Interesting.
And it's true, he's going to be punished for it because that ping works out perfectly for Geronimo. So if he'd gone a face with that, he would have been left open to perhaps like a fireball ping on the Stonehill Defender, but you'd be fine with that because then you get the Stonehill Defender back rather than the hero power.
Yeah, I think the only really scary thing if you go Steed instead of Kings and go face because you can't trade the 5/5.
Yep.
You don't really want to trade the 5/5 because it's a mage. He can't buff and everything. But the only scary thing is that maybe he's running polymorph and he can polymorph all the value from your Steed.
But even then, he can't polymorph Tyrion then, so you're not even that sad.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So interesting play from Geronimo already, but even so, he's left himself in a pretty decent spot with a very sticky board already with all these plants that will come off the Murloc. So if he can find a Sunkeeper Tarim, he will be pushing forward an awful lot of pressure, which in this instance would mean that the pickup of Eye for an Eye would have been even better because at the moment he's only got a 1/1 Murloc in hand, whereas he would have, as you said, a very possible win condition in the Eye for an Eye.
Right. What do you think? Would you go for Flame Strike or do you Volcanic Potion and go for Cabal Courier, for example?
So you're really the reason to not go Flame Strike, as I've said, is the Sunkeeper Tarim. Because if you leave your opponent with 4 1/1s on board, that's all of a sudden 12 damage that's going to be pushing towards you on the following turn, and then you really wish that you had the Flame Strike in order to deal with it. But that is only one card that you're afraid of, and if they don't have it, you can follow up with the Volcanic Potion on the following turn, and it works out very nicely indeed.
Yeah, and the consideration is also there. Of course, your opponent has a Tarim in the deck, and he used one of the defenders, so
yes.
he might have it discovered. So that's pretty scary.
You're right. You are obviously very scared of that, but I think overall your other plays were looking very weak.
Right.
You just have to assume that your opponent doesn't have it because you can't really afford to play around it.
Yes, and the Flame Strike is a bit hard to get value out against Paladin because it's 7 mana. Because of course, it sometimes it's really devastating for the Paladin and can clear all the board, but it's too expensive. And having like a flexible 3 mana clear is way better. Oh, a Vaporize. Interesting.
Yeah, Vaporize is pretty nice here for Abel to clear off the Tyrion. Sorry. Still going to have the Ashbringer coming through afterwards, though. So even if Geronimo does end up attacking in, it's going to be a lot of damage coming through regardless. And I doubt that Abel is running a Gluttonous Ooze because he's already got quite a few cards that you don't always include, like the Babbling Book, the Cabal Courier, things like that, which means it's unlikely that there'll be room for a Gluttonous Ooze.
I really liked from Abel's side that he picked Vaporize so fast because no one picks Vaporize so fast. So it's
true.
It's kind of like a bluff, you know, that no, I don't have Vaporize. It's probably like some counterspell or something, or
he does have Gluttonous Ooze and he picks it up.
That's a really nice top deck.
Oh, that is disgusting. I stand absolutely corrected.
There's a lot of power plays from both sides, to be honest. The War Leader will be devastating also, as we can see from Geronimo's side.
Yeah, it absolutely will. With no way to clear off these little Murlocs, it's going to mean, even though he's bringing himself up to effectively 24 health, there's still going to be 12 coming through on this turn. And with the Sunkeeper Tarim, that's another 8 damage. So this is, what, just 20 damage he can push forward to face?
Still, he can't proc, I think, right?
Yes, I think you're right. It's still out of range. But even so, now that the Flame Strike's gone, I think you just go off here.
Yeah, probably you're right. The double Pyroblast, though, it makes like a win condition on its own. You just need like a third Pyroblast or a couple of burn spells.
It's true. Over the next few turns, if you're not popped on this turn, you go Pyroblast this turn, and then you will be popped. Oh, so you'd have to go Ice Block and hope that you picked up a Fireball and a Ping, and then Pyroblast. It still doesn't lead you to a victory, I don't think.
Yeah, the weak thing about the Pyroblast is that you can't use it with the Ice Block. So.
Right, yeah, that's true. So maybe if he picks up Alexstrasza on this turn, even then, as you said, you can't go Pyroblast, Ice Block. It's looking pretty dicey for Abel. If he's not able to clear off this board, he just might not have the time to deliver the damage to face in order to close out this game.
Okay, so he can Mind Vision a Consecration.
That's true. That doesn't really help at the moment because he would need perhaps a Volcanic Potion to go in combination with that. But that Fireball maybe makes things a little bit more interesting. If you go Fireball, Well, you start off with mind visions, I guess.
I think the first thing you have to think as a mage is, can you prevent from being popped? If you can't, you just have to deal as much damage as possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe set up for a full clear next turn, but it's either of those. And with this hand, I think you have to go for the burn plan and somehow survive and somehow get there from 29 HP.
That's pretty nuts.
I don't know which turn this is. It's 10 mana, but it's like turn 12 or something, and your opponent's still at 29, so that's
pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I guess if you Pyroblast face here, they're down to 19. The following turn, you can go Fireball, Ping, Ice Block, which will bring them down to 9, 13, 12, and then you're 2 damage off lethal. But with that True Silver Champion, oh, what a pickup!
Oh, nice.
That's exactly what you needed. So you just go True Silver and attack into the face. Because if you proc the block, then you're not allowed to attack into the face, and you definitely don't want to be attacking a minion because your minions on board already do such a good job of dealing with that.
Right, nice sequencing, nice sequencing.
Yeah, done perfectly. And so this means that I don't think there's any sequence of cards, even if it's something like Frostbolt or Medivh's Valet off the top, it's still just not going to be enough.
Well, he's still not out of the game. the Pyro... Oh, Ice Block.
Oh, Ice Block. Okay.
So, whoa, there's a lot of good picks. Right.
Ooh. So, Ice Block... Blizzard doesn't make a difference.
If only he could pick two, like, pick Pyroblast and Ice Block. And play both on next turn.
Yeah.
I can't
So he gets an extra 2 damage here. Okay. Would you go for the 1-mana Ice Block to fit a ping in?
How? I don't know. Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know.
So if you pick up Fireball off. Wait, so if you go Ice Block if you go for the 1-mana Ice Block and ping, you bring them down to 14. If you pick up Fireball off the top, they can only go back up to 16. And then you go Pyroblast on the following turn would lead to a victory.
Yeah, but if you go for Ice Block, if you leave the Ice Block with 1, I think you can go for Anton and... Nah, I don't know.
I don't think you really run Antonidas all too much in these decks.
Well, some people do.
Some do? Okay.
Well, not so many, of course. Well,
just don't think that's going to do it, even with the Consecrate and the Frostbolt.
Will it be like 1 damage off? No. No. Right. It's going to be 1 damage off.
So if it gets Primordial Glyph into another Ice Block...
Then it's lethal, right.
Then it's lethal. So that's his only out, I think, at this point.
Maybe he has another Courier, because he used 1, I believe. Then you can get Ice Block from there also. Maybe Babbling Book.
Yes, very true.
There's a couple of ways.
Generating an Ice Block is the only way he's going to win this game.
Yeah.
Alex Straza on yourself does not buy you another turn. Firelands Portal.
No, there's nothing.
Talking away. Yeah.
One off.
Wow, so close there at the end.
And if Geronimo had picked a Eye for an Eye, the mage didn't have a chance at all.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute lockout victory. But that's going to be, I think, another 3-0 sweep after seeing Ignite, meaning that Geronimo is going to be facing off against Hero in the second semi-final.
Yes, congratulations. So we are gonna... We don't... are we having a break? I don't think so, right?
I think we can just go straight into the next game.
Yeah, if players are ready, I'm ready also.
Awesome. Right, I'm going to message Hero saying you can start when ready.
Yeah. So we are gonna be back into the semifinals already. So this was just a quarterfinal match. Let me check the brackets. So it's Geronimo versus Hero now, and the winner plays Ignite in the finals.
That's exactly right. And looking at the prizes already for third place, that's already $10 US. So I don't think we'll be streaming the third and fourth place decider. But you know, even if you're losing in the semi-finals, you still have an opportunity to get third place and get something.
Yeah, I like this final thing from Zotac. They are making this really enjoyable because usually you play open cups and you just forget about it. Just get a win, get a third place, second place, get your ACT points, and then that's it. And Zotac makes it like you participate. If you win, you get even like a small chance. Well, not even a small chance, but all the winners gathered there just for some extra cash, and I love it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
nice addition.
And it's more exciting as well because you're more likely to be going off against better players. Because I think in the last one we did for Americas, we had what B787, Kara QT, like a
Yeah.
few like notable names that people
Yes.
have heard of making it this far.
Yeah. And here also, Ignite is a really nice player. The one
Yep.
from here, I think I recognize his name the most.
Yes, absolutely. He was playing in the Europe playoffs last weekend, and I can't remember his tournament victories, but I think just one of the most notable players from Portugal.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna check out Hero. Do I have both players?
Was it Hero and Geronimo? So yeah, I think we've got both players.
Yes, I have both. Okay. Interesting. So it's a conquest format. What do you think compared? Do you like conquest or Last Hero Standing more? It's
I think at the moment I haven't seen too many Last Hero Standing tournaments, but overall I'm actually quite enjoying the tournament meta. I've heard because obviously people I think overall are pretty positive about Ongoro meta overall compared to what we had beforehand, even at this point when it's been out for a couple of months now.
it's quite hard to complain about OP classes or like
Yes.
or something because there's like 8 OP classes now or 9 even. Well, not 9 because Warlock doesn't exist, but it's basically 8 OP classes. Before it was like only Shaman Stone for like I don't know half a year or something.
Oh, longer than that. Shaman Stone, like ever since Tunnel Trog came out, it was just Shaman Stone for like a year. Over.
So now you can't really complain, even though there's some bad mechanics, maybe bad RNG things in the game. It's still really healthy. There's too many viable options to go about, and I really enjoy it.
Exactly. And so I think the thing is that on ladder, people are a bit annoyed because you have very polarizing matchups. So like if you're queuing up a freeze mage, for example, if you go up against a Jade Druid, it's basically just a loss. Like, you know, you're so unfavored in that matchup. And then, so if you're facing a whole bunch of Jade Druids, maybe you switch to something else to beat the Jade Druids, like a Silence Priest. But then you face off against a whole bunch of really aggressive decks that just stomp you in the early game. So it's it's dependent on what you queue into. But I think that makes for a fantastic tournament meta because you have loads of ways to counter your opponent. And if you know what they've got left, then you can go with some other decks, and it means you can get some really, really good strategy going.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the latter, it's not that healthy. Maybe. Well, it's still nice to have the variety.
It's really not bad, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't face like one class. When I see because I use my tracker bot, you know, like a tracking thing to track my matches and see my stats. So when you see the matches against, you have like all the classes. The spread is really evenly. And before it was like 50% shaman, like 30% like I don't know warrior, and there's no difference. And now there's everything, you know. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think the
boring.
most surprising. Yeah, it's absolutely not boring because the most surprising bit for me is that Paladin is like a thing because before Ongoro came out, everyone was kind of predicting, what do you really do with Paladin? Maybe it's got some kind of a N'Zoth archetype you can go for, but everything else you don't really know what you're going to go for. Right. But it turns out the Murlocs are just crazy good.
Yeah, the Murloc synergies, they are insane. Yeah, well, everyone predicted a Hunter to be like the meta-breaking thing, and it's not.
And it turns out it's like, it's alright. It's probably...
on the bottom, I think.
It's probably on the bottom. Yeah, the 8th or 7th best class for ladder at the moment, I think people would say.
Yeah, I think Shaman and Hunter, they're like on the line. Being okay, just okay. Nothing great about them. It's like tier 3 for me.
There's some pretty cool stuff being done with Shaman though at the moment with the token versions, be it Evolve or just like aggro Water Rogue that RDU was bringing.
Yeah, he did quite well with it. I didn't think it was consistent enough, but he made it to the Shanghai with it. So
exactly, and I think the thing is he realizes that it's not actually the best deck. But he just needed another aggressive deck, and he thought, right, this is probably the fourth best aggressive deck I can bring.
Right. Some people decided to go for Hunter, but Erdu didn't.
I think he went for both.
Whoa, Erdu had a Hunter? I don't remember.
Yep.
I can check it fast. I have.
Yeah, because he was one of the players arguing for Bittertide Hydra over the Savannah High main.
Oh, right. Oh, he had really aggressive hunter, I remember now.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, interesting. So he didn't because some people decided to go for as a fourth aggro deck. They decide usually to go for Questro, which is not smart because in the mirror it's really weak. If your opponent doesn't have a Questro and you're running also aggro, then you lose almost all the time because
Yes.
your Questro in mirrors are terrible.
Yeah. And I think what's really going to be interesting about the Americas playoffs this weekend is that I think aggro is going to be doing a lot worse there because you've got loads of people bringing Taunt Warrior over Pirate Warrior, which means they're probably going to have much more anti-aggro lineups. But not many people are bringing aggro at all, to be honest. It's just so I think in that tournament, whoever's bringing the mid-range decks is probably going to be in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, I agree, totally agree. I didn't check all the decks yet, but I saw the stats for aggro and control, vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's insanely different from Europe. Well,
It's crazy.
In Europe, it was only like 30% aggro. A lot of people think that the aggro dominated, but there was like more than 50% not aggro, like mid-range control variants, but still a lot of aggro.
That's still more than America's. Like hardly anyone is bringing Pirate Warrior there.
Yeah, there's only a couple. So okay, our players still not even preparing, so I wonder what they are doing.
Yeah, I think I was just messaged a couple of minutes ago by Hero saying that he's still waiting for his opponent to do the bans, but at the moment it says that Hero is preparing to battle a friend, so we're getting there at least.
Oh, nice. They just came into the challenge screen. Nice.
Cool.
So. Yeah, I'm really excited for the American playoffs. I wonder who's gonna win.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. I think I was more excited for the Europe playoffs because I think I followed more players in the European scene. But overall, I think it's still going to be a good one.
I'm really happy with the ones that qualified, though.
Really?
Yeah, because there's all the good players like Colento, Erdu.
It's true.
Hoy, and who else? Wait, what? It was Colento, Erdu.
Colento, Audio, Hoy, Nyria, I think.
Nyria, okay, yeah. So really stacked lineup, and I think Europe has a really nice chance.
Yeah, I think Europe's got a fantastic chance because imagine if in America a whole bunch of weird randomers make it through and it turns out they just got lucky and they're not actually very good and they end up going up against Colento and just get stomped.
Yeah, Colento stomped me in Europe preliminaries.
Oh, I wanted you to make it so much. That would have been so exciting. Maybe next time, hey.
Wait, I forgot to turn off my notifications. Well.
Oh no.
For the Streamlabs, sorry.
So still waiting just a teensy bit longer. They're preparing to battle each other now, so I think any moment now we should be ready to go. I'm going to ask production for bans as well.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, Colento beat me 1-3, I think, in preliminaries. It was interesting games, but yeah.
He was like control anti-aggro, wasn't he?
I think Colento is Colento when he just brought the decks he likes to play.
Right, yeah.
There wasn't any clear strategy for him. It was like Taunt Warrior, Quest Rogue, what else? I don't remember the second two. Paladin, like a mid-range Murloc Paladin, and the last one...
It's got to be a Druid.
Yeah, I think it's a druid. Yeah, it was a strange Jade druid with Curator but no beasts.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just running the dragon. Pretty interesting.
Interesting. Just to draw, like, guaranteed draw the dragon.
Yeah, just only one card, but it's still good enough because it curves out perfectly on turns 7 and 8.
Yeah, so it's neither good against aggro, neither good against control. It's in the middle between everything.
Exactly. Yeah, kind of a hedge play. But here we can see we've got the bans from both players, and it looks like they are just about jumping into game 1. So I think we are going to go spectating hero.
Yes, I'm jumping into heroes.
Brilliant. And we can see from both players the decks that were brought were warrior, druid, and mage for hero, and warrior, paladin, and priest for Geronimo, with the druids being banned on both sides.
Spectate client is just getting me into the game. Are you spectating?
I am still waiting. It's loading for quite a long time.
Yeah, for me also. So.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be the second semifinals, the decider who gets to the finals again, and faces the Ignite. It's gonna be the interesting finals, and even this is gonna be interesting, I bet.
Yeah, that's right. We've already got one fantastic player through in Ignite, so whoever can get through here will be very interesting to see. We were a little bit questionable. We were questioning some of the plays that were being made by Geronimo in the earlier game. That's right. With his Paladin, it felt like, or with his Paladin, it felt like it could have optimized it a little bit better. Didn't exactly understand the Paladin versus Mage deck, but unfortunately, but hopefully he can tighten it up a bit. Sorry, I just got a message from Hero saying that he thinks his opponent's internet is dead, so perhaps having some connectivity issues from Geronimo.
Oh, okay. Oh, it got through to the spectate. Nice.
Oh yeah, it just got through for me too.
Nice. But I don't see the Geronimo online, so maybe he got disconnected, so we should wait a bit. I think because they haven't started, they should remake the game if Geronimo doesn't connect, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Geronimo is offline for now.
Right, yeah. So I imagine that it's going to be probably a regame, because you don't want to give a disqualification for disconnecting before the mulligans have even gone on.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It doesn't happen too often, but yeah. Interesting. So the hero queued Paladin versus Geronimo's Warrior. So I think they're gonna queue the same classes. All I can see is I think I saw moving from Geronimo's side.
I think I did as well. Hopefully he's reconnected again. I think this is the pre-mulligan hand for hero, and maybe not, because that's. Oh, okay. We're going to a regame then.
Yeah, sure.
That makes sense to me. Probably for the benefit of hero, because that was looking to be a pretty rough starting hand.
Yeah, it was Aldor and Tyrion, right?
Yeah, not exactly what you want.
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Sorry for the high amount of talkstone, but we are very, very nearly, I believe, going to be getting into this next game.
Yeah. Well, it's still, I think it's better. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. I'm afraid to diagnose what is bad and what is good. Is it better to talkstone or see the screen, like blank screen?
I think overall they'd rather have talkstone. They can get the same thing and just mute us if they don't want to hear talkstone. They'd rather just have a silent break.
Right. Okay.
Not that they should.
Maybe. Maybe our voices are really frustrating to hear. Who knows?
Maybe yours is. I know that mine is beautiful.
If it was my tournament, I would play like a break and then some gachi music or something. It would be nice.
What just? And we'll be right back after these messages. Take it, boy.
Okay, so Hero is there, but Geronimo. Oh, I see him in Hearthstone. Okay, so maybe his internet fixed. Let's hope so.
I hope so for his sake. It'd be annoying at this stage to get a disconnect to decide one of the games.
Right.
But yeah, Hero has just confirmed they're going at it again. Hopefully this time we will have more success. Whew.
Hero is rank 9 player. I think I just thought I would
stay. Name and shame him.
No, it's like he got that far being rank 9. Maybe he's playing on NA just like me, because I went.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because I'm rank 5 myself here.
You are only a rank 5 scrub.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Not like Mr. Derek with his fancy legend ranks.
No, it's worse. You're rank 5. I'm rank 339. You're way ahead of me.
Yeah, but I know. I see what you're doing. You're rank 339, and you're waiting to decay to 420, right? No?
Yeah, just relogging every few seconds. Just eventually, I'll get down to 420.
The dream, you know.
Just so I can post it on Twitter and get 1 like from my mum.
Yeah. The thing that I would like to do at least once in my Hearthstone career as a player, it's to finish at 69 rank, like to go into that standings, top 169. Oh, that would be nice.
That's all you care about. That's your aspirations for your Hearthstone career.
Yes, what else?
Right, so we're finally getting into this first game between Hero and Geronimo. Once again, this is the second semi-final match, and already to start things going, even pre-mulligan, Hero has a pretty fantastic starting hand indeed.
Okay, so it should be showing nicely now. Nice. And this is, as I said, they didn't change anything. They just remade the game. It's Murloc Paladin versus the Taunt Warrior. Very interesting.
And wow, just look at this starting hand from Hero. He could just go Farfin Inquisitor, Coin Inquisitor, Rockpool Hunter if he wants to go for the fastest start possible. However, with a Gentle Megasaur and a Spike-Ridge Steed on hand, I imagine you're probably going to want to save the coin for one of those. However, Geronimo has just picked up the one crucial card he absolutely needed to completely shut down this opening. This is nuts.
Yeah, the War Axe. Oh my god. It's interesting. In this matchup, I think it's correct to keep the quest. I haven't played too much of the Taunt Warrior nowadays because it's really not nice on ladder unless you know what your opponent is playing. Like in High Legend, maybe you meet the same player again and again, and then you know that your opponent is bringing some kind of deck. Like, is it Jade Druid or Aggro Druid? It really differs. Right. And then you can decide to keep or not keep the quest. But
absolutely.
In tournaments, I think you can read your opponent more because you see the lineup, all 4 classes, and most likely you know what your opponent is bringing.
Yeah, for sure. If they've got 3 other aggressive decks, it's unlikely that it's going to be a Jade Druid rather than an Aggro Druid, as you said. But to get things going, Geronimo is in a pretty fantastic spot to get his quest completed very quickly indeed. He can go for another Stonehill Defender off of this original Stonehill Defender if he wants to have another go. It has the double benefit of playing him another Taunt and also able to get perhaps a slightly better Taunt minion, maybe in a Bloodhoof Brave or an Ali Armorsmith if he's looking for more health.
I don't even know who's favorite in this matchup. I think it's very 50-50. It depends on your, probably on your defenders and how many Tyrians you discover.
Right. Yeah, I think you're totally right because you obviously have the potential to just run away in the early game and win by swarming the board and then going for a Gentle Megasaur to simply just deliver too much damage for your opponent to deal with. But you also have the ability, as you said, to generate huge amounts of value with your Spike-Ridge Steeds, your Hydrologists, your Stonehill Defenders, your Tyrians, your Rag Lightlords if you're running them. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in the late game. And you just have to pray that your opponent can't complete their quest too quickly. However, Geronimo is already, 4 out of the 7 cards needed in hand? Or 5 even. Which is crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot. The quest for Geronimo is going pretty nicely, and he has a couple of taunts in his hand already.
So Geronimo's saving the Fiery War Axe charge here rather than removing a Murloc. What do you think about that?
Well, that's interesting. I think he sees that, okay, I don't have a way to deal with a Murloc War Leader probably, or he just wants to get value of the Sleep with the Fishes.
Oh yeah, sure. So if a Murloc War Leader comes down now, he can just go for Whirlwind Fishes, clear up the board completely. Perhaps even in combination with the Dirty Rat.
Yeah. Or he just likes to save everything because it's not really that threatening to have that 2-3. It's not doing anything. You have the taunts.
I guess so. But however, if a Murloc War Leader or a Gentle Megasaur come down, both of these would be very, very scary and make Hero's board incredibly threatening. And I guess if you go for the Gentle Megasaur, you have the potential benefit of getting something like a Divine Shield plus health, things like that to make your board a little bit more sticky. However, he's going with the most aggressive route possible.
That's a good one.
With the plus attack.
So he gets punished for not killing the 5-3 a bit. But now, as we said, he can go whirlwind fishes in the worst case scenario, or he can. I don't know what else he can do.
If he goes for Dirty Rat, he obviously has to be really scared of pulling out something like, Raglight Lord Tyrion, something very scary like that, which could be really devastating. But if he pulls out either of the two minions that are actually in Hero's hand, he will be very happy indeed. And it looks like that is going to be the play that Geronimo's going for.
Nice. Even in, Rag Lightlord is not that scary. I think the only one is Tyrion would be scary, and
right.
Tarim would be even good to pull. So.
Yep, that's true. And so this is just a massive shutdown of everything Hero was trying to do. He doesn't have a single minion left on the board in order to try and hit a Spike Ridge Steed on. So I imagine on this turn you're going to use the coin, load up as much as you can onto the board so that you can guarantee yourself something to put the Spike Ridge Steed on the following turn.
Or there's an alternative to go Hero Power and War Leader, or just Hero Power and go Tidecaller into Steed next turn.
That's true. That's very true. I suppose the benefit... So there's the benefit of if you play everything on this turn, if you are left with stuff on the board, you've effectively given charge to your Spike Ridge Steed.
Right.
However, if you hold back and go for the Tidecaller on the following turn, then you're guaranteeing yourself a minion to put Spike Ridge Steed on.
Yes. And that's the beauty of having 1-drops in a Steed deck, because it's a really nice turn 7 play.
Maybe we should run Wisps in that deck.
Nice. Yeah, that's an idea.
6 mana turn. That's crazy.
Oh wait, the Tiny Fins, they are there also, right?
They're rotated out.
Oh.
I know.
It would be nice. Maybe it would be played,
Yeah, it wouldn't be terrible. With Gentle Megasaur, it might actually be pretty good.
Yeah, interesting. Too bad.
Something to think about in Wild.
Oh, nice, a Wild deck. We should we can tip some players that are playing in the top 64 tournament,
Yeah, by the way, me and Surus offer coaching, $500 an hour.
Trust me, experts on Wild. I think I could count on my fingers how many Wild games I played in my life.
I think I could as very few Wild games. Don't tell that to the people who hired me to cast a Wild tournament recently.
Oh, but to be honest, I could count on my fingers, as I said, but I won a Wild tournament just a while back. Yeah, it was a tavern thing, like a gathering,
Oh,
fireside gathering. Cool. So it was fun. I just googled the Tempo Storms top 3 decks from Wild.
Wow, thanks, Reynard.
Yeah.
So here for Geronimo, it turns out that just in the wake of that Sleep with the Fishes turn, he is left with everything to do. He has a hand full of minions, which is pretty much exactly what he wants at the moment. He doesn't want any removal. He just wants to be able to load up on the board as much as possible. Playing 2 minions here, I suppose, is inviting an Equality Consecrate, which is what Hero was going for by holding back on the Murloc Tidecaller, because he obviously had the opportunity to go Tidecaller, coin Spike Ridge Steed, as you said, on the previous turn. But I suppose he's hoping to get value out of the Equality and Consecrate beforehand, and then follow up with the Tidecaller Spike Ridge Steed play.
Yeah, or he just drops double Tidecaller now, which is also nice. And as you said before, you get a charge with the Steed then. And in the worst case scenario, you're already... Whoa, why he didn't do it? I'm interested. Because even in the worst case scenario that everything dies, you can just go Hero Power into Steed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think overall you are probably correct, because the coin is unlikely to be too useful in the coming turns. Gentle Megasaur is pretty good at this point, because even with just 1 or 2 hero powers, you're looking in a decent spot to take down a few big minions if you can hit Poisonous, which would be really nice against these Alley Armor Smiths.
Yeah, but I think you have to go for a Steed now just to deny the card draw from Acolyte.
Oh yeah, okay, of course.
Well, you don't deny too much because your opponent has a Whirlwind effect, but he can't know that, so personally I would go just for a Steed. On either one of those, I think. Unless, I don't even know if you attack into 7. Maybe? Okay.
It's tough.
Okay, you do.
So this ends up working out pretty much exactly the same whether he went for coin for Tidecaller on the previous turn or coin for Hero Power on this turn. So overall, Hero in pretty much the same spot. And unless he can pick up an Execute, no real easy way to get through this Murloc Tidecaller. So actually, this is looking to be pretty threatening. Not convinced?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, the Geronimo finished the quest already. It's the hero is really in trouble. He didn't get the discover taunts fast enough. But to be honest, it's pretty nice top decks now for him.
Yeah, he absolutely is getting the cards he needs. If he goes for Hero Power just on its own, that unfortunately doesn't bring the Tidecaller up to enough damage to get through that high health alley Armorsmith. So we'll have to hope for something off the Gentle Megasaur to make it a little bit easier, like perhaps plus attack or +1/+1, maybe even Wind Fury.
Boy.
Ooh, all of these options. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, Wind Fury and attack is really nice. He can even kill the 2/7 with the 3/1 that is on board.
Mm-hmm.
And you just saw a whirlwind effect, so maybe your 4/1 will survive if you go for attack.
It's very possible.
Wind Fury is strong also, though. Well, maybe not that strong. I think you go for attack.
Yeah, I think overall plus attack is probably best because it just means that you have to attack in once into the alley Armorsmith.
Oh, sorry, my math was off. You can't kill that 2/7 with 6/1. Apparently, you can sap me. Go ahead, sap me.
See if I care. So here you can kill off the Tidecaller and then go for a brawl to completely clear up pretty much everything that Hero has on the board, leaving them with, I suppose, at worst, 6/1 or maybe 5/4.
Do you attack with the Acolyte before just to draw a card? And
yes.
do you drop but you didn't drop the Armorsmith. I think if you brawl, you might drop an Armorsmith because it always wins the brawl.
That's a nice old meme.
No, it happens all the time. Oh, you can you don't even have to brawl now. You can save it.
Do you think? These are some pretty scary minions here.
Yeah, but you can go for like a weapon, clear with a 2/1 and hit into 2/6, and Acolyte could have gone into a 5/1, a 6/1. I mean.
I think with that way you give your opponent the opportunity to win, because if it goes completely wrong and say your Ragnaros Hero Power goes face, something like that, maybe they get another Gentle Megasaur, or I suppose they've already played one, but maybe they get the potential to blow you out.
So he takes 6 to deal 8, guaranteed. Instead of dealing 4 to face and saving HP.
Yeah.
It's fine. You put...
Wow.
Owl. Wow.
Very interesting inclusion. I haven't seen that card in forever.
Yeah, like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Is it 2015 or something? I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't have the dust to craft a Spellbreaker.
Isn't it common? No, yeah, I think it's basic.
I think they're both common, yeah.
Oh, right.
Maybe he got Ironbeak Owl in a pack, though.
Yeah,
but I suppose it's giving you a bit more Curator synergy because it's a beast. Maybe?
Oh, right, you're correct. 3 mana for 2/1.
Old jump. Yeah, but this is starting to look like it's pretty over for Geronimo. He gets a nice hero power there onto the Sunkeeper Tarim. I suppose you would also have been happy with it going face, but this is pretty fine. Massive Stonehill Defender coming down, looking for Tyrion, I suppose, as the main thing to take this game for you. But Wicker Flame and Grime Street are both okay.
Yeah, Wicker Flame usually is really good against Rag hero powers, but you don't have board now, so your opponent can probably kill it. A 6/6. It's not that great against hero power from Ragnaros, but at least you can contest the 4/6 if it doesn't die. And you make your 1/4 really annoying for the Rag shot.
That's true. I think the play here probably just ends up being Primordial Drake because of that. Then you still have the mana to follow up with the hero power, and then if it hits either of the 2 minions, you can finish it off with your Curator afterwards. Or maybe you just go for Ragnaros, you go for Primordial Drake, attack into the Stonehill, and then go hero power, because either result you're pretty happy with.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. I think you killed the 1/4. Yeah.
But I guess he doesn't think it's worth getting rid of the hero power, the divine shield, with that method. I suppose this way you develop a 6/9 rather than a 4/8. So overall, I guess this works out being a little bit better, because you really don't mind taking the 1 damage from the stone hill at all.
Yeah. And it doesn't damage your own minion as much.
Yes, that's true. This is correct. And now I think that this is pretty much over for hero.
Yeah, I don't see the lines. Well, he's not out yet.
He is, yeah. With the Primordial Drake, that is guaranteed lethal if Geronimo can spot it, and I think he very, very likely will.
He doesn't even need the hero power.
Oh, it doesn't even need the hero power. There we go. So that's going to lead us to a 1-0 victory in Geronimo's favor. It just kind of turned out that at the start, by saving his War Axe and not killing off the Rockpool Hunter and just going for a Whirlwind Sleep with the Fishes, that absolutely won him the game.
Yes, and I think that one play, saving the War Axe, was really interesting. Usually you just auto-hit it. Oh, it's a 2/3. It fits really nicely for my War Axe. But you don't have the second War Axe, you don't have any weapons in hand, and you have all the AoE clears. Well, not all, but some of it, so you have to be greedy a bit. It's like when you played Control Warrior back in the day, you sometimes get greedy and just make your opponent commit more and then brawl. So I think it's similar thinking. When you play the slower warrior versions, you have to be greedy sometimes, if you're not in danger especially.
I think you're absolutely right. So for Geronimo left, he has got his Paladin and his Priest to line up against heroes remaining. Paladin, Warrior, and Mage. The Priest is looking to be in a fairly decent spot. Perhaps he'll try and get rid of the Warrior first, because you might be afraid, whether it's Silence or Dragon, of a Taunt Warrior.
Yeah. The Priest is really, usually really nice against all the Mage lists.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
So I wonder if he will catch that matchup, because I think he wants it the most. What kind of Priest do you like the most? Because all the players play different lists. Because I even brought one to the preliminaries myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I haven't experimented with Priest too much. I've mainly just been playing Mage a whole bunch the last couple of days. But I think Silence is probably the way to go at the moment. If you high roll, it's kind of impossible to lose.
Yeah.
And even if you don't high roll, you're still in a decent spot, because you just draw a whole bunch of cards and hopefully win in the later stages of the game.
Right. It's an interesting list. Definitely interesting list. Doesn't run any removals basically, but still, you remove by pure stats of your minions.
Exactly. If you're making a 2020 Faceless Shambler, you don't really need removal, because you have a 2020 Faceless Shambler.
Right. Yeah, personally, I think I like the Dragon lists more. That's why I brought one to preliminaries. It performed quite well. I run one Divine Spirit, one Inner Fire in it.
Sure.
Just for potential shenanigans with all the stats and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways to build the Priest. It can be just Miracle, Miracle combined with dragons, like Lyra and even the Elise in it.
It's a very cool deck.
So we'll see what kind of Priest will be brought by Geronimo, as you said, right?
Yes, exactly. And so here we can see it's going to be the Paladin brought by Geronimo up against the same Paladin from Hero. Finger in the starting hand. Do you keep that in this matchup to just play down on turn 5?
I think it depends what kind of Murlocs he's running. If he's running double Bluegill warriors, then I think you might keep if it's more aggressive line. But some people don't run Bluegills, and then I think keeping Finjay is not that great, especially if you're going first and you don't have the coin.
Yes.
Because usually before these kind of decks, and including Finjay and the Murloc Paladins, you always keep Finjay, because all you had in your deck was only the Murloc synergistic War Leaders and Bluegills. So it's really insane. And he decides not to keep it. I think that's correct.
Okay. It's not going to work out fantastically for him, though, because two true silver champions without the coin, as well as a Tyrion.
Tyrion. Oh boy.
Whoa, this is a terrible starting hand for Geronimo. And on the other side, it's a fantastic starting hand for Hero.
Yeah, so Hero seems like in a controlling spot right now. Of course, even those slow hands from Paladins usually are not that bad, because you can just stabilize with True Silvers, and he has two of those. You can just hit the important targets like War Leaders or the Tide Callers that are getting out of control.
Right.
So he just needs to survive a couple of turns.
I'm not sure if I like coining out the Balfin Inquisitor here from Hero, because no matter what your opponent plays on turn 2, whether it's a Rockpool Hunter or a Hydrologist, coin into War Leader deals with that really nicely, and then on turn 3 you can go Balfin Inquisitor into Hero power.
Yeah, I really don't like the coining the 2-drop there also, because you don't have anything to follow up. If you get
Exactly.
Even if you had like a second 2-drop, then maybe, but still I wouldn't do it probably, because you have 2 True Silvers and you want to coin one.
Exactly. Well, no, he doesn't. You
Wait,
can't.
yeah, right.
It's the other player. Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, yeah.
You got it?
Yes, my brain malfunctioned a bit. Yeah.
No worries, man.
Sorry.
When you see 2 4-drops like that, you assume they have the coin. Otherwise, it's so ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
But things still working out decently well for Hero, it would seem. He's got the option to go Murloc War Leader with 2 Murlocs on board. You're very happy with that indeed. Or maybe even just Balfin Inquisitor into another hero power. But with this play coming down, I think it has to be the Murloc War Leader.
Yes, it's pretty nice value from your Morlocks.
Does give a decent target for the True Silver Champion, which isn't perfect. But then on the following turn, you can still just load up with a few slightly smaller minions, and it still leaves your Balfin Inquisitor and your Silver Hand Murloc alive.
You could have played around True Silver if you wanted, because you could read that your opponent probably has one, since he started so slow. But I don't think it's even worth, because there's a chance that your opponent doesn't have one.
Sure. And so in this matchup, the Iron Beacowl might actually be incredibly good. If you can silence either a Tyrion or a Spike Ridge Steeded minion, that can be incredibly powerful. But this selection from the Stonehill Defender is rubbish.
Well, it's not that bad. The 2 of the taunts was pretty nice. Like Stegadon is nice for mana taunt. It's a 2/6. And the pirate one is also good if you have a True Silver, for example. It's basically a free taunt.
That's very true. Whoa. Hits one of the Murlocs, which is probably the best outcome. Just anything other than the 1/1 you're very happy with, because you can just True Silver down the remaining minion.
Right. And Stagyadon will not get Kodo, so you're quite happy to see it.
Yeah, that works out pretty fantastically indeed. On the next couple of turns, things are looking kind of weak for Hero, because 7 and 8 are going to be fantastic plays in Curator into Light Lord or the Drake that he will draw from the Curator. But outside of that, you need to pick up something to do on the following turn, whether it's a True Silver, a Gentle Megasaur, a Spike Ridge Steed. There's quite a few pickups he can get, but he's going to have to find them off the top. He's actually got lots of outcomes he can get here. Another War Leader would be fantastic. Rockpool Hunter doesn't quite line up fantastically, but he just needs something to do. As long as he doesn't draw a Tyrion or a Drake, he'll probably be pretty happy.
Interestingly enough, that the Geronimo's hand was really slow, and he had 2 True Silvers in hand, and not a good start. But as I said, the True Silvers, it was a nice stabilizing tool. Now he's back on the board, and he killed like 3 important targets. Really valuable True Silver hits, I think.
Yeah, worked out. The True Silver, just even though you have 2 of them in your starting hand, unless your opponent has a disgustingly powerful starting hand, it's just a really nice way to fight back in the mid game. Spike Ridge Steed, however, off the top is absolutely fantastic for Hero, making the correct trade, I would say, in the Murloc to deny anything like Gentle Megasaur or War Leader. And then you're looking in a great spot in the next couple of turns with Curator and Rag.
Right. Oh, so Geronimo is running the Cold Light Seer, so it's more of a board control-y, aggressive style, probably.
Which makes his slower start even more depressing.
Yes.
So I guess with both of these Murlocs on board, he's pretty happy with whichever one is returned to his hand with Getaway Kodo. But it looks like it's very possible that Hero just won't even deal with it and just won't kill any of these and go for the Curator on this turn and then follow up with killing them on the next turn.
Yeah, it's pretty scary to leave those Murlocs live, because your opponent can have a second War Leader or a Stegodon, and you don't know what's your opponent's hand. Of course, usually the best thing to do is play around the best thing that your opponent has. For example, turn 8, usually from Paladin, is Styrian, so you have to prepare for it.
So preparing for a noble sacrifice potentially there with that attack, with the 1/1 first, and then this can just go to face, and then on the following turn you have the potential to go for a pretty nice consecration, maybe even double consecration to finish off everything that's left from your opponent. Yes. Or maybe even just Primordial Drake, which also does the 2 damage necessary.
Yeah, Hero is pretty happy because he has a lot of cards in his hand. He just got the triple draw from Curator. And Geronimo is running out of his hand. Well, he still has like really high mana cost cards to play, so he's set for a couple turns, like 2 or 3 turns, so he can draw anything. Maybe if he finds his own Curator, it's anyone's game, definitely.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right. So he has the option here to go for double consecration, which would give him the opportunity to clear off everything, but he thinks it's more important to silence off the Tyrion, deny that Ashbringer completely, and then I suppose you can still kill off the Seer in order to give him the worst possible getaway Kodo, and then follow up by killing off the War Leader and take a value trade.
It was interesting because he doesn't know if it's Gateway Kodo. Maybe it's a Redemption, then it's scary.
That's true.
If it was Redemption, then the minion though would have been Redemption with 2 HP, not even 1, because War Leader is on board.
I don't know if I like killing off the Ragnaros there rather than taking the value trade onto the Murloc War Leader, because you know that there's another Cold Light Seer in hand, which is going to make that War Leader actually kind of difficult to deal with.
Right. Well, it's scary if your opponent Spikered Steeds and maybe gets a second secret and makes you kill it, and you get like Redemption or Gateway on it.
That's pretty far out though, like there's a lot of things that have to happen.
Yes, and your opponent only has 2 cards, so maybe
exactly.
You're right. Poisonous looks nice, I guess.
Yeah, I think Poisonous has to be the keep. You can go for +3 health, which brings both them out of range of actually dying to the Primordial Drake. But overall, he thinks, yeah, it's absolutely worth to go for the Poisonous. Would rather sacrifice, it would seem, the Cold Light Seer as well. But actually, with the Spike Ridge Steed, you don't have to sacrifice anything.
Or do you? Maybe you want to sacrifice just to make the 5/8 healthy. Okay.
I suppose you're still, as ever, afraid of a True Silver Champion, but even then, you're pushing forward quite a lot of damage.
Well, and it's strange because Hero has all those cards, really valuable synergies and everything, and Geronimo has like 1 card a turn.
Yeah.
And he's still like in demanding position. He's winning, I think.
He really is. That poisonous on both of these Murlocs is so scary. You just can't really put all of your faith into a big Spike Ridge Steed or a Ragnaros Lightlord, because they both just get cleared off too easily.
Yeah, so he decides to make the widest board possible, and I agree with it.
Yeah, Gentle Megasaur on 3 minions here is absolutely fantastic, and Divine Shield?
Yeah. Nice.
That's very nice indeed. It means that none of these minions would be affected by the Poisonous, because they're not actually being damaged by the opposing minions, but they would die anyway, so it doesn't make too much difference, it would seem. And now with what that is, 10, 14, 18, 21 damage off lethal for Geronimo.
Wait, is it lethal? No.
10, 14, 18, 20 damage.
Yeah, so 1 damage of lethal.
Wow.
So I think you go for it, and
really?
you have 2 steeds on board if your opponent clears everything.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to trade because you can't kill all the Murlocs and you put your opponent at 1. Of course, your opponent has Light Lord, but you can't know that. You don't know the deck lists, and
That's true. So then, for assuming that Geronimo does go for that, which definitely seems like the most obvious play.
oh,
Okay.
interesting.
I actually quite liked having that minion on board.
Yeah, I like that too, and it was behind a taunt, so
Exactly. The poison's incredibly powerful.
okay. Well, now it's really hard to kill the 7/10, I guess.
So you have a few. Oh, the Kodo is nice to deal with the to deal with the Stegodon after it comes out from the War Leader. What are you looking for here? Plus
Poisonous.
attack, taunt, poison. Yeah.
But he didn't get one. Too bad.
Didn't get any of these. Yeah, these are all
Taunt is nice.
taunts. Yeah, taunt's all right because taunt Divine Shield is pretty fantastic.
Yes,
actually.
and you can get the taunt on all your minions on board. You can even
Yes.
use the steed on 5/4, and it's like unpassable wall, which you need because your opponent has a lot of damage and only 2 minions.
Maybe you just go for plus health though, and then go for a massive minion with taunt in the Divine Shielded minion. But even then, your opponent has a poisonous minion, so they're going to be able to get through it.
Yeah, I like taunt. It's 3 divine shielded taunts. It's like mini bots with taunts.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
So you can only actually get up to a maximum of 8 attack, which means you're going to be unable to break through this Murloc War Leader with what you have on board. But you are, however, going to be staying alive for the moment. And then after you kill off this poisonous War Leader, Ragnaros Lightlord is looking to be absolutely fantastic to pull you back in.
I definitely didn't like that hit. Your
Really?
opponent wants to hit and remove all those.
That's true.
Oh, a creator pick from the defender. That's insane.
Crazy. Even with no dragons, you're perfectly happy here.
Look, now he enabled this trade for no reason.
That's true. Yeah.
As I
He
said,
absolutely did not want to do that.
I liked the taunt on Megazord instead of even any of the Murlocs.
Yeah. So once again, a lot that you would have done different.
Me, who cares how I would play this?
Mate, you're a playoffs player. You're a superstar now, as I've already said.
Who cares? These are players that made to the finals and they are playing in the top 8 of Zotac Cup.
Yeah, do I need to remind you what rank hero is?
Hero? I forgot even.
Oh, was he? Maybe he wasn't. I thought he was the player. Yeah, rank 9.
It's a good rank.
Okay.
Come on.
If you say so. Oh, wait, did that have... Oh, it had double Death Rattle on it.
Yeah.
2 Stegodons. I forgot.
Why didn't he get hit the 1-2 before? He had the advantage. What? That was strange decisions from both players. I don't know.
That was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, he had 2 attack to kill the 1-2 and guaranteed the 2-6 kill with Kodo. Why would you keep the Divine Shield? If you don't hit the 1-2, then he hits.
He will
the
attack
1-2.
in anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. I think that was pretty much just a mistake, and he got punished for it massively.
Yeah. It might be even game deciding. That's simple not trading. Interesting. I think he just tunnel visions that he is scared of dying because he is at 5 HP and he wants all.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because.
And here with the War Leader into Megasaur, we can see it's going to have some pretty devastating choices, but Living Spores, I guess, just give you the most resilient board possible. As soon as you pick up Sunkeeper Tarim, you pretty much have the game, unless a huge board clear comes down from Hero. Oof. That's not what you want.
Yeah, it's a bit of healing, but it's a bit too late for that. You can't.
And you're really afraid of that secret, aren't you? Because you're thinking, what if that's redemption? What if that's noble sacrifice? There's some really scary outcomes for you.
Yeah, and you're dead because you can't go through the minions. Well, okay, maybe you have to risk it, but still it's not enough. Like kill the 2/4 and then drop the Ragnaros and hope to win the 50-50, but it's still not enough to survive. So.
And imagine if he'd got the Kodo on one of the Stegodons instead of that little rubbishy Stonehill defender, he could have traded in the little Murloc Divine Shielded Hero Power minion into that Gentle Megasaur, which had a huge amount of attack.
Right.
So you'd be in a much better spot.
Yeah. Maybe it wasn't still enough to win. I think the most devastating thing was from getting from Defender. The Geronimo got the Curator to refill his hand because he was running out of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And of course, both players made some questionable buffing decisions, but interesting. Those matches are usually really close. If it doesn't snowball from the start, it usually just goes to the late games, and all the decisions matter a lot. So
they really, really do. And it's interesting because even the more aggressive build from Geronimo had the late game staying power that it needed to fight back against Hero's more controlling mid-range version of Paladin.
Right.
And so now we can see it's the kind of priest that you favor, the Dragon Priest from Geronimo, and Hero once again trying to pick up even just one game with his Murloc Paladin.
Yeah. And to be honest, this is not a good matchup for a Dragon Priest. Well, he's running 2 Dragonfire potions. That helps.
That's going to help a lot, and especially if he goes for the Northshire Cleric on turn 1, it is going to be the most devastating outcome possible of Rockpool Hunter on turn 2 to turn this Tidecaller into a 3/3 and completely cleanly remove it. And he does go for it, and is going to be hugely punished for it.
Yeah, if your opponent doesn't have a buffer, like exactly Rockpool Hunter, then you have a nice follow-up, like the best follow-up ever. You just coin Cabal Talon Priest and you win the game. Oh.
So, I guess I shouldn't say punished, because it wasn't a misplay. He just got unfortunate, and his opponent did have the perfect card.
Yeah, I think there's no other 2-drop that can do that. Like nothing.
Hydrologist wouldn't do it, and you can't coin War Leader.
Maybe 2 1-drops, like 2 other 1-drops to buff your Tidecaller to 3.
Yes, that's true.
It's very unlikely. Okay, so do you coin Glimmerroot, or do you?
I think you coin into Talon Priest, because you're not going to have an option to put it. Your opponent very, very likely will kill off the Glimmerroot if you're coining out a 3-drop. That screams that you have a Talon Priest, and I think just the 1 extra stat will make all the difference.
Interesting. Yeah, so the worst, usually you think about the worst case scenario. So the worst thing that your opponent can do for you is War Leader. So if he War Leaders, then you want a 3/4 on board, because then he can't kill it with... No, he can kill it with a 2/3.
Yeah, actually, if he has War Leader, you'd rather play the weaker static minion, because they both die anyway, don't they?
Yeah, it still dies to 2/3, buffed 2/3, so...
So I think overall the Glimmerroot probably is best, because it's pretty likely that your opponent has a Murloc of some kind. And given that, you'd like to have the 3/3 on board, because they both would die either way to the Murloc Tidecaller. But if your opponent has no Murlocs of any kind, then you'd definitely rather go for the Talon Priest. So it's a very relevant decision.
So you would be happy if your opponent just played Defender on 3, because it's a slow play. Yeah. Then yes, then the 3/4 is better. But if you think of the worst case scenario, then it's correct to play the weaker one. And we didn't even comment on that, because Equality is really nice pickup. You didn't have anything to combo it with, but even like weakening the board before your Dragonfire potion is really strong.
That's true. Do any of these Dragon Priest lists run Pyromancer?
I don't think so. No, there's no spot for it. There's too much.
There's just not enough room.
Yeah, there's too much synergy you need to get from dragons.
Right. Yeah.
And even the Glimmerroots are not common. Well, some people like it. I don't run it, but.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more decks against control, because you try to outvalue the control decks. It's definitely not favored against this kind of deck.
Okay. And so, because Hero decided to go for the Glimmerroot first, he was looking to be in a pretty good position to capitalize on that, because then the 4 health of the Talon Priest on the following turn would have done a really nice job of clearing up these weak little minions from Hero. However, the perfect card in the True Silver Champion was picked up by Hero, which allowed him to very, very cleanly remove it. And it also gives him the opportunity to make clean work of this Priest of the Feast now, with the Rockpool Hunter and the Hero power. Or I suppose the potential to go for trade in the Silverhand Recruit and the Tidecaller. But I guess overall you'd rather have more minions on board with a higher chance of getting a Spike Ridge Steed to stick.
Yes, and Hero was very unlucky. He got all like 3 his most expensive minions in hand.
Yes.
and then top decked a Steed, which he can't play on turn 5. So
And that is the perfect card to top deck as Geronimo there. And Spikeridge Steed as well is a fantastic card to get. But maybe you go for the Consecration to combo with the Equality. That's
yeah,
nuts.
that's a really nice combo piece. Piecing a combos from your opponent's class is really strong because your opponent never plays around them.
That's true. They're never going to expect.
There's
them.
like a percentage chance that your opponent actually gets it. Especially that if you play like 2 operatives in a row, then maybe you can piece a combo together. But if you get one piece from Glimmerroot, come on, it's a random card. 1 out of 30 cards that you can get.
That's very, very true. So on this turn, I think we're very, very likely to be seeing a Spikeridge Steed, as the Consecration really doesn't do too much to make this a cleaner trade. What minion are you sticking this Spikeridge Steed on, though?
Which one? That's a question. If you taunt Murloc, it gets to 8 HP, so it's hard to kill it. Too bad we don't have any 2 health minion, 2 attack minion, I mean. Because then it would be not that weak against the pains and deaths.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But now it's 3 attack minion, and it's really bad against pain.
Cool, so here, yeah, Dragonfire Potion seems like a perfectly good play because you have 3 board sweep options, 4, I suppose, if you include the Primordial Drake. And this just feels pretty nice indeed. Could have dug for the Shadow Word Pain, as you said, with these Shadow Visions, but overall it feels more powerful to use up your board sweep options because you have so many of them. And here Sunkeeper Tarim is going to do a pretty fantastic job of trading out this board.
It was a strange decision that he made. Like, why would you Dragonfire? He had like a nice Consecration if he wanted. He could consecrate, trade, heal up, because it was 3/7 and he had 5 attack. I like the Consecration there.
That's true, actually. And you still have the potential to go for Equality and Drake on turn 8.
Yeah. Well, not 8, turn 9. No, 10, I mean.
Oh, turn 10, yes. Yeah,
but I think he just tunnel visioned because, I have a clear, I have Equality Consecration, I should keep it. Like,
yeah.
That's not a good way to look at things, but it might work out.
I think you're right.
It might work out.
So Tyrion here has just been the scourge of priest ever since Entomb has left this year of standard rotation, with no real way to cleanly remove it. You're going to have to hope to get rid of it and then clear it off the weapon, maybe with some kind of weapon removal. But as you said, this Dragon Priest list feels pretty tight, so it's unlikely you'll find there room for weapon removal as well.
So, some people like to include a Harrison in that deck because card draw is not that bad, and 5/4, yeah, it's okay. But that's not that common. Usually they don't run any.
Yes.
Of course, you can discover from your opponent's deck. In tournaments, usually Paladins tech in at least 1 removal for the weapons.
So now, to deal with this Tyrion, you have the Shadow of Death, which is pretty nice. But then you're still facing down a lot of damage. That'll be 10 coming in on the following turn. Can clear off your weapon, and then to follow that up, I suppose you just look for something to do with the Shadow Visions.
Yeah, you can even go for Drake. It's a nice 8 mana minion, and hit the 2/6 or 2/4. I mean,
I suppose that's the big thing to worry about, isn't it?
But it's too slow. I think maybe Death is the correct play. Of course, the weapon looks scary because you have to get taunts fast.
Exactly. You do have the Primordial Drake, which is very, very nice, though.
Yeah, and Hero is quite happy because he couldn't play a single thing for the longest time because his hand was really too expensive, and now he has a power turn after power turn, so he's in his waters now.
He's got so much to do. He is in no fear of running out of stuff with the Primordial Drake, something to discover off the Stonehill Defender as well, and even just what's on board. There's no way at the moment of dealing with this Ragnaros Lightlord. We're going to have to probably see a Shadow Visions, hoping to find a Shadow of Death in order to deal with that, or maybe you just go for the Equality Consecrate now.
Yeah, too bad if you don't have 10 mana to go Equality into Drake yet, but it's good enough.
So this is going to be 2 damage off of lethal, I believe, for Hero. If it can pick up another Consecration... Oh, no, with the heal. Yeah, there's no way of delivering lethal on this turn, I believe.
Yes, unless his face has Wind Fury somehow.
Yeah. That'd be pretty impressive. The Giant Mastodon, your favorite card in the world, is presented. And it looks like you might pick it.
Oh my, the tusks. Look at those magnificent tusks. Come on. How can you not pick it?
Oh,
because you saw the depth. You saw the depth. You have to go for Mastodon because you haven't seen too many paints. I think you haven't seen any, so 3/8 is not that strong.
That's true.
So I think you go for Mastodon. I'm not even biased. I think you do.
You think it's the best play? He agrees.
Nice.
The Mastodon is the pick. Obviously, pretty unfortunate that you're not getting a Tyrion, a Tarim, maybe even just a Grime Street Defendant. But yeah, overall, you're not too sad because even at the moment, it looks like you are potentially threatening lethal on the following turn. However, that Dragonfire Potion will do a very nice job of clearing up this board, and then you can follow up by making an absolutely massive Northshire Cleric.
Yeah. Interesting that he doesn't find a way to put the Primordial Drake on the board because against the Priest it's like almost game winning. He can't clear any way. So usually it's even worth to play it and damage your own minions just to make it into play.
So if you go for the Primordial Drake on this turn, and then I think I actually prefer that to the Mastodon. Because think about it, you go Primordial Drake, attack into the face, that brings your opponent down to 3. They have no way of removing the Primordial Drake cleanly, do they? And then on the following turn, even if they go for a taunt, you just go for Equality into Consecration and win the game.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's the winning play. Of course, your opponent can go for Lyra and do shenanigans, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But they can do that this way, and with this way, they're pretty likely... Well, it's not ridiculous for them to have a Shadow Word Death, because they might have a Shadow Word... They might have a Shadow Vision, they might have a Lyra, as you said. There's a whole bunch of stuff they can do.
Yeah, he can even get Inner Fire and still be okay. Whoa,
yeah.
Whoa. So he didn't even go... Interesting.
Wow, and that is going to lose him the game.
Right. So he doesn't even look and fish for the Shadow Word Death. Maybe there's a slight possibility that he's not even running Shadow Word Death. Some lists cut all of them.
That's true. We've seen one coming down to deal with the Tyrion, but maybe he does only run one.
Yeah. So if you played one, yeah, I even forgot that. So usually there's no one playing 2 anymore. Really, I haven't seen almost any lists that run 2 of the Shadow Word Deaths from Dragon Priest.
Right, yeah. And that is going to be game. So Hero getting a game on the board at least. And Geronimo needs to win just one game with his Priest. And Hero, if I look at the bans, has left, I believe, Mage and a Warrior. So that Mage is definitely going to be the weak spot in this matchup.
Mage can win against anything, but it's also targetable quite often with all the priests and armor gains from the warriors and paladin with a lot of heals. It's pretty hard to get your mage out of the lineup.
Exactly. As ever, health and armor gain has just been the real bane of mage, and it feels like Hero is getting his better matchup out of the way first. We can see this is going to be a quest warrior. So when you're playing your Dragon Priest, Cirrus, are you happy or sad to see a quest warrior?
I think I'm quite okay. It's very 50-50 matchup, and Geronimo's list is a bit more greedy than mine. I think the Glimmer Roots are really strong, and I think he's in a good spot because I think he can outwild you a bit if he's fast enough. And as we can see, he has a lot of early stuff. He even has the Dream in hand. He has the Lyra with double elemental.
That's right. So if there's no Fiery War Axe, he can do a fantastic job of just getting ridiculous hand to get going right at the start.
Yes, or he can wait till turn 10 and make infinite spells. But it's a bit ridiculous. A bit ridiculous, of course.
Yeah, I think you have a decent chance of getting that off, even just on turn 5. Even just on turn 4, if you put down the second one here, then you can go coin Lyra into Shadow Visions for 1 billion cards.
Yeah, if your opponent decides not to kill them, but I think you would prioritize killing the 2/3s, especially if
I
there's
think you're
two of
probably
them.
right.
But of course, you can go for the second one, then discover like for example, Pain with the Shadow Visions and Pain
Yep.
something.
That's very, very possible. A really difficult few turns for Geronimo. Maybe he just goes with the Curious Glimmer route now, because even if you only have one Radiant Elemental in combination with Lyra, you're still in a decent spot to make quite a lot of spells. But Hero doesn't even attack into it.
Interesting. Yeah, so he doesn't go for the Dream. He doesn't have to. He can play it slower. He can make it...
Exactly.
He can play with one in hand and maybe play it on turn 7, for example.
Mm-hmm. So Shield Block is a pretty decent card to get, because if you can do it in combination with 2 Radiant Elementals on the board, that is going to be a 1-mana spell that will get you another spell off the Lyra. But the pickup of Fiery War Axe is exactly what Hero needed.
That's very strong. He could even rat and kill the Lyra. Of course, he doesn't know it, but...
Oof. That would be pretty nuts.
Yeah. Prioritizing the elemental, I think it's correct.
Yeah, I totally agree. And here Geronimo can potentially just keep on playing it nice and slow. We could see the shield block come down on this turn. Maybe the Northshire Cleric comes down and you heal the Glimmer Root back up after attacking in. You got a fair few options, all of which draw you deeper into your deck.
Okay, that's good. It's always nice to have more cards. I wonder if Geronimo is even running a Elise in his deck.
Ooh.
It would be overkill of value, but it would help in this matchup a lot.
Poor Elise is just so good in Priest, though. Being able to Shadow Visions that pack, it's just... That's exactly the kind of crazy value that you need.
Yeah, but usually if you're playing dragons, you don't run Elise. Not many people are that greedy because
Right, okay.
you don't need that much value. You even have like Glimmer Roots for discovers, so it's added
I guess
value.
with Glimmer Roots, that would be a bit nuts, wouldn't it?
Yeah. There's no time against any deck in the game to get all the value in that kind of deck.
Yeah. I guess so. So now once again, Hero keeping the board nice and clear while drawing a fair few cards at the same time. So the absolute dream that Geronimo could have gone for of getting, double Radiant Elemental and Lyra seems to be dead for the moment. But you could get one Radiant Elemental with Lyra in the coming turns to at least generate a fair few spells. But if he's going to want to do that, he's going to have to dump his hand over the next few turns as well, because he's got, is that a full 10 or 9 cards in hand?
Yeah, it's 9 cards, and he just drew the Draconet Imperative, but too bad he didn't have a dragon. I think he would have played it. I think he wants to get rid of Dragonfire Potions a bit.
Yes, he definitely does.
But there's very nice targets for his Potion of Madness. Okay, so he decides to use it up. You definitely don't go for Lyra yet, because you can get insane value with it. You can refill all the hand.
You could save it for 10 turns, perhaps. Like, once you've got rid of all your stuff, even just saving that one Shadow Visions could get you exactly what you need.
There was even decision to go bad with a Discover. Like, for on purpose, just to not get a draw. Like,
oh, wow. Okay.
Because you have 10 cards, now you waste the coin, which is a free spell from the Lyra. Well, of course, you have a follow-up with Cabal Talon Priest now, which maybe is better, because you maintain the board.
I think it's probably just about worth it, because Shield Block is, on average, maybe better than whatever random Priest spell you're going to get.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah.
And it also, as you said, gives you the potential to solidify your board a lot more at this point in the game.
Yeah, but when you think about it, that coin might just be like mind control, for example.
That's true. It could be. You never know.
It's really annoying to play against those Lyra priests, and when they get like 3 mind controls and they just play one, okay, if they play another, oh, come on, okay, well, I can still deal with it, and then the 3rd mind control, and you're like,
exactly. Oh. You just can't do that, can you?
Yeah. So I think Geronimo will play it really slow as possible for him, and just use all the cards in his hand, like Dragon Synergies and everything, and save up the Lyra to refill his hands, which I think is correct.
But you can only play it so slow in this matchup. Eventually, your opponent is going to complete the quest, and then you're going to be put under quite a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but he's not going so fast. He doesn't have too many taunts, and he's only at 2 and 7.
That's true.
He has a Dirty Rat, which is really scary for Geronimo, but yeah.
Shadowed Pain is absolutely fantastic to just cleanly remove that Acolyte of Pain, making sure your opponent is delayed significantly in completing their quest. And then to follow things up after that, could just play the Draconid Operative for the body, because as you said, maybe, if you were considering choosing incorrectly on the Glimmer route, maybe you just don't even want that card from Dragon Priest, from the Operative, sorry. You'd rather just get the cards that you can from Lyra.
I think Operative is more valuable than a Shell Block. You usually don't choose Shell Block. If you play Operative, for example.
Yeah.
You wouldn't choose Shell Block unless you get a Shell Slam with it somewhere. But
right,
I think you want more value, and Dragon Operative into like 6/9 taunt, for example, if your opponent's 3/6 have died. The hatchling thing,
Right, yeah.
I won a couple of games just for discovering those. It's insane.
What, just from getting the Matriarch? Oh, that's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, and you get like a couple of them, because you can discover with one Operative, then maybe you get a second Operative, and it doesn't die to 8 damage hero power from Rag.
So I think right now the Dirty Rat into Shield Slam is looking pretty juicy. Maybe you can pull out some... I mean, obviously you don't have to go for the Shield Slam, but if you pull out something like Lyra, Primordial Drake... I'm trying to think what other things. Perhaps Elise. There are a few things you could pull out that you would happily Shield Slam.
Yeah, Hero is devastated by that pain on the Acolyte, because he needs the card draw.
He absolutely does. His opponent's got 2 shield blocks already, but he's had none.
I think you don't play anything, you just embrace it and hope your opponent overextends somehow.
Wow. I guess so, because if you go for the Dirty Rat into Shield Slam,
Oh.
that's using up a resource that you kind of need, but going for Dirty Rat Brawl is insane. And there we do see the Elite Trailblazer. This is the greediest deck I've ever seen.
Oh my god, there's so much value. It's overload.
So much value. I can hear Trump running towards Geronimo's computer right now.
Yeah,
Give it to me.
Yeah, I think Trump is sneezing somewhere like, oh, so much value somewhere.
He just woke up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, some people say that there's this thing called Spidey senses. So I think there's Trump senses. Like,
Trump's value senses are tingling.
Yeah.
Oh, so Dirty Rat is actually so good for Geronimo, because if you can pull a taunt from your opponent's hand, that is enough. They're not getting towards their quest. However, pulling out Armor Smith here, not exactly what you want.
I think I wouldn't have played it that turn yet, because you know that your opponent doesn't have a taunt. He didn't play anything last turn, and he had full mana.
That's true.
So I think I would have waited.
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
So then the only taunt that your opponent is going to have saved, I guess, would be Dirty Rat.
Yes, correct. Well, if he hit the Dirty Rat there, then of course it was totally correct.
Yeah, then it's insane. Yeah. So I guess maybe he's thinking it's pretty likely that his opponent does have Dirty Rat in hand, and maybe he was thinking my opponent has no minions at all in hand.
Yeah, and you have to throw out some cards, so.
Right, yeah, of course. Ooh, that is a very nice looking Twilight Drake indeed. All he needs to be afraid of now is committing too much into a brawl, so I would expect to see very possibly just the Twilight Drake. However, going for Twilight Drake and Elise, this is exactly the signal that Hero needed in order to go for Dirty Rat into Brawl and decimate everything Geronimo is trying to do.
I think the only problem with Geronimo's deck for Lyra, for example, it's insanely strong, powerful refill tool, but I think his deck doesn't run too many spells.
Okay.
So it's really hard to get full value out of it.
That's true, and very possibly you have, as we've seen quite a lot, too many cards in hand with Glimmer Roots, Operatives, Historians. There's so many ways you have a refill in your hand.
Right.
So very often you're just not going to have the room to go for Lyra.
But so far it looks pretty good. Pretty good for him.
Wow. Saving on the Brawl and Dirty Rat. I guess you wait for your opponent to kill your Primordial Drake with their minions.
Yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
you have a lot of HP. You have all the armor in the world, and you have the Brawl, only one Brawl. It's one hard removal, so you kind of have to keep it.
Ooh.
Double Dirty Rat. How far is
Now
he
you
off?
go for it. Come on.
So he can 5-7 with Double Dirty Rat, which is not great. Like,
Is your opponent ever going to play more stuff though? Like they can just hit. They're so happy hitting you for 9 each turn.
right. I would be happy to hit for 9. Well, it's the only thing is that your opponent wants to play out his hand because, well,
But they don't have to. If they just carry on hitting you for 9, they're just going to win.
right.
Because the thing is, even after you've completed your quest, you can't be that far behind on board, or you're just going to lose.
Yeah.
And these are taunts that you have to play towards completing your quest as well.
Maybe you just play 1. Oh, that's a good one to get out from Geronimo's perspective. I mean.
Can he get Lyra?
Oh,
Oof.
that's
So
actually
somehow Geronimo's still left with the combo of Radiant Elemental, Lyra, and Shadow Visions. He's had that since pretty much the start of the game.
yeah. And he gets a second one. He can get all the packs he wants.
Oh my god, you're right. This is so much value.
Oh
Oh
my
my god.
Okay, double pack, incoming.
Come on, it has to happen. It has to happen.
Yes.
That was
I
one
think,
pack.
I think it's guaranteed. Maybe even it's only 12 cards. How many spells are there? He doesn't
That's
run
true.
too many.
It's got to be very likely at least.
Yeah, and he has double dragon
Go
fighters.
back now. No.
No. So he has double dragon fire. So I think it's guaranteed to get one. Both. He plays one. No,
Oh.
he doesn't. He does he?
You just churn through these cards,
But
surely.
yeah, maybe you just cycle a couple.
Exactly. Like pint-sized potion is never going to do anything. Thought steal as well. Oh my god.
Silence is good to keep, I think.
For what, the Direhorn Hatchling?
I think any taunt, and yeah,
Okay.
hatchling is one of them, but I think any taunt is good.
Right. Okay. Oh, speak to the devil. Wow. So execute the Lyra, I guess, just to mitigate some, or the Elise, sorry, just to mitigate some of the damage, and then, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hero didn't get a lot of card draw to finish his quest, so I think that was the main problem, and the pain on the acolyte was. Yeah.
That was devastating. Oh, so would you have gone for the execute there, or are you happy with saving it?
You have to save it. You have to.
Really?
Look at your opponent's hand. He has so many cards. What does execute do? Nothing.
Yeah, I guess so. It doesn't really do anything.
Unless you can execute Lyra, for example, then yeah, maybe. But
Yeah, I guess so. So just going for the Angora pack here for what? 3 cards?
yeah, he burns one of them. Oh, two, yeah. Pyro. If you needed
Pyro.
more value.
Oh my god! And the Ultra Sword. This is so much value.
He can still execute for his opponent.
Mind Blast to get a little bit of extra damage in, and mainly just to generate another card. That's a Holy Fire, which is more damage that you can push through. He's actually unable to stop himself from burning a card here. Till the Weasel Tunneler!
I think I haven't seen that much value, like, ever.
Like, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm smiling to my ears for I don't know how long. Like 5 minutes was like, oh my god, how can this get more?
The ultimate first world problems. Like, you have too many cards in hand to even do anything. Shield Block, I suppose, one of the better cards you can top deck just to cycle through your deck a bit quicker. But Ravaging Ghoul is going to do absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. I think like
execute Lyra.
Yeah, you have to. I think a player like Life Coach, for example, would rope and misplay a lot now because he's as you know, Life Coach was and is like a perfectionist, and you have to find the best way, best value play, even when you're winning as much as possible. So now how do you find that play when you have so many decisions and overvalue? You know, you can do anything basically.
You absolutely can. So in this spot, now that you've got a Lyra off the battlefield, you can at least start to dump some of the cards in your hand, and they won't simply refill Pyros. Yeah, I guess just play it again for a 6/6. Why not? And then you can follow up with Mind Visions. Does literally nothing, but maybe you do it just to get rid of a card in your hand, because you want to go for that Ungoro pack at some point. And your opponent's probably going to be playing whatever they can off the top each turn.
Do you think Warrior has any chance now?
No, there is no chance. Even if they complete the quest, they're going to be so far behind. And Geronimo's just going to be able to load up with minions each turn. Like, look at that Ultra Saw. You play that down, it doesn't die to the hero power. That's nuts.
Yeah. His
Now,
long neck
outside of
is
that-
too overpowered.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as long as you don't... I guess the Warrior can just... But look at the thing is, he's not under no pressure. This is 12 damage coming through every single turn. He just doesn't have the time. He had to find a taunt on that turn, and he had to get perfect RNG every single turn from
Why
there
do you
on
kill
in.
the 5-2? You can kill the 6-6.
That's just dumb. Yeah.
You can 6-6.
Would you'd even burn your opponent a card, I think, if you went that way?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything like burning a card
Yeah,
at this
that's
point.
true.
But yes.
Oh my god, look at that neck.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. Okay, what's
Stone
the taunt?
is nice. You
Let's-
complete the quest at least now.
And
What are you looking for your taunt? Primordial Drake, Dirty Rat is just terrible. Public Defender is the most health, but I think Blood of Brave. I suppose if you go Public Defender, you can go Hero Power and Sulfurous as well.
yeah, so I think it's either of the 2 drops. Because you want sulfurs, most likely. So you rat.
The Dirty Rat.
Okay, he
I guess
keeps
maybe
it.
you get Brawl somewhere down the line.
Yeah, so that maybe he still has chance if your opponent runs out of minions, right?
That's just not going to happen though.
It might.
And now you might top deck the Weasel Tumbler as well.
Oh, he hits a good target. Nice. And burns a pack.
No!
No, the value. No.
Maximum value ever.
A 10-10.
Look at this though. This is just 2 minions that don't die to the Ragnaros hero power. You have to go for Dirty Rat and pray that you pull Doomsayer, maybe?
Or anything that dies to hero power, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. You live for a turn.
But if you think about it though, you've killed so much value from your opponent's deck by killing off the Ungoro pack and denying the Battle Cry from the Nether Spire Historian, but it just doesn't matter. There's still so much more value coming through.
Yeah, usually you're really happy with burning a pack and ratting a 1-3,
Yeah.
but now you definitely are not. That was a ridiculous game.
And so with that going to the face, that can be... yeah, with Potion of Madness, that's definitely the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot of different ways for lethal, I think.
And I think, unless I'm mistaken, that means that Geronimo is going up 3-1, which means he will be the second player in our grand finals going up against Ignite for the first place.
With the insane value play at the end, insane.
Absolutely insane. How many other ways can I say it?
Yeah, and he makes it to the final, and he will face off our finalist that has been waiting for a while. It's Ignite, and we'll see how his value decks will fend out against Ignite's. I don't remember what he's playing actually.
I think he's going to struggle. He is bringing Aggro Druid. I remember that, and he's bringing the Evolved Shaman, and I think a fairly aggressive Paladin as well.
So maybe that's gonna be the case. But there's this one mistake that most of the players make. That's I will make it clear now that Priest usually is not even good against aggro, but a lot of aggro players ban Priest in tournaments because for some reason they think, okay, there's those potions that are cheap, there's pains, and I'm scared of that, But
there's such a high chance they just don't draw those things.
Yes, and you don't have strong power plays early on to survive the early game, and
exactly.
So if maybe there's some slight chance that Ignite decides to ban the Priest, then I think it might be not that difficult for Geronimo. But if Priest is open, it's gonna struggle a lot because it's a really greedy list and it doesn't do good against any aggressive decks.
Yes, I think you're very right. So I would have to favor Ignite going in, but who knows?
Yeah.
We've seen some pretty crazy stuff happening from Geronimo so far.
Interesting. So I think we are gonna be having a short break, like 5 minutes, maybe less, once the
Sounds
players
good.
are ready, because I think Geronimo might want a short break before starting the finals after these grueling matches. Okay, so see you guys in a couple of minutes, and thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. We'll be back right away.
See you soon.
Welcome back. This is me, Surius Sathris. Yo. And together with me I have my fellow Derek Brown.
How are you doing, my fellow?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I can't wait to see who takes it all. Is it Ignite or the Geronimo?
I think it's going to be a good one. Ignite, we know that he's a good player, playing in the playoffs, done a whole bunch of stuff before, been in the community for a very long time, and Geronimo just seems to be getting the most insane games I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah, insane value player, and I like his name. I think he's my new favorite nickname of the day.
What else did we have in the tournament? We've had some pretty good ones, but yeah, nothing quite as impressive as Geronimo.
Yeah. I hope it's his like victory phrase, you know. When he wins, like Geronimo. I don't know. So okay, we are about to jump into the finals. We are just waiting for players to get their bans and concentrate and do everything they need. And the winner takes how many cash prize things?
Let me have a look
Monies?
at the prizes.
50, 60, I don't remember.
Overview. Oh no, wait, I'm in the wrong bit. It's $60 for first place,
Nice.
$30 for second, and $10 for third. I think they're playing out the third and fourth place match right now, but we are not going to be streaming that. So as for now, these players have guaranteed themselves at least $30, which is pretty good for a couple of hours work.
Yes, indeed. And it's like, it's only 8-player tournament, you know? It's a nice price.
Exactly.
Even for an open cup, if you play one, it's nice to get like 60, 50 euros, anything. Like 20 euros is always even something. And it's only 8-player tournament. It's a nice addition, really.
Yes.
And you get to practice your decks and strategies and everything. I really wish I could play in one of those. And by
One
the
day
way,
you'll make it, Cirrus. One day.
yeah, and by the way, any viewer, I think you should check out the Zotac Cup, and you should follow them on Battlefy and check them out and participate in some tournaments. Maybe you will get through and get some nice cashes yourself.
Absolutely. It's a very cool one to do, and I'm sure Zotac will be doing more stuff in the future. I believe the next one we're going to be doing is the Southeast Asian one, because we've already had the Americas Cup, and this is the Europe one now. So if you're watching and you're a Southeast Asian viewer, definitely give it a shot for next time.
Right. So I see Ignite is preparing to battle a friend. So they are picking classes, most likely. They are about to begin. I opened the old decks from Ignite that he brought to preliminaries, and he brought the aggressive decks. It
Right.
was aggro druid, aggro warrior, and a hunter, and a secret mage, I believe. Yeah, it's a secret mage.
Right.
So
And here we can see, even just from the bans, the Ignite is banning the Taunt Warrior from his opponent. So clearly a very aggressive strategy, because any aggro decks absolutely hate to see the Taunt Warrior.
Right. Sometimes, for example, as a pirate warrior, you would be surprised how many games you win against Taunt Warrior.
That's true.
It's
That's
really
true.
good. But
I think
yes.
aggro druid definitely struggles. But here we can see that this is going to be the aggro druid from Ignite up against the Murloc Paladin from his opponent. And we can already see an incredibly fantastic start for Ignite with the Hungry Crab into Mark of Yashiraj. If a Murloc is played on turn 1 by Geronimo, he is looking to be in an insanely good spot.
Nice. And as Ignite, I think I don't know if it's a post-mulligan hand or pre-mulligan, but the Finja, I think you would keep in this deck definitely, because you don't have bad Murlocs. Oh my God, Geronimo mulligan!
This is so juicy.
Oh, that's a good mulligan.
Because you absolutely play this on turn 1, because it's so fantastic against aggro druid. If they play the Bloodsail Corsair, if they play any of their other those 1 health minions, or something, even just something like Firefly, Enchanted Raven. Now that you have the Rockball Hunter to follow up, it's so fantastic. But he's going to be absolutely devastated when that Hungry Crab comes down and just puts Ignite in such a good position.
And I think you have to emote. Every time you grab on one, you have to emote.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
That's a hello.
Yeah, hello, I'm Crab.
Oh,
It's
and
like,
so
how good
feels-
is it? 1 mana, 3/4. Ah.
It's pretty good, I'll say that.
And you can even make like it with a combo of Markov Yashar, with the synergy, it's insane.
It's absolutely nuts. Maybe if you're afraid of Aldor Peacekeeper, you don't go for Mark of Yasharaj. But if they don't have it, it's ridiculously good. And even if they do, it's not that bad because you can buff it up with Power of the Wild later on.
Yeah. What's the alternative? Just drop a 2-2? It's a bit slow, but it might make sense because you're playing a bit into Consecrate, but it's only turn 3 yet, so it doesn't matter.
You could go for Power of the Wild for a minion.
I don't like it because it's only one more stat, and the Raven is also a beast. What do you care? That one stat, really.
It's just the mana efficiency, isn't it? Like next turn you can go Mark of Yasharaj and the Enchanted Raven, and then go for coin 5-drop in Finger into living mana on the following turn, which means every turn 1 through 4 you have used up every single point of mana.
Okay, if you really just so scared of not using mana, but I think it's more valuable to keep the buffs.
Yeah.
But
I think
this
the thing
works
is,
out
though,
fine.
if living mana sticks around for a turn, you've won anyway.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter getting the +1/+1 buff on it.
Yeah, maybe this is the most powerful turn. Yeah, and Geronimo concedes. He doesn't see a way. Maybe he's not even running Eldors in his deck, you know?
Outside of some kind of crazy innovate into fledgling plays, that was one of the most powerful aggro druid openers I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, the crab. The crab makes the game, basically.
Crab.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like playing an innovate that also draws you a card, isn't it? Because a 1 mana 3/4, it's like playing a 3 mana card, but it also deals 3 damage. Like it's off the chart powerful.
Yes. Of course, it's really not that spectacular when you don't face any Murlocs, of course.
Yes.
But even then, in a Beast Druid, it's 1 mana, 1/2. The stats are not really that terrible. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's not
That's
a
the thing.
1/1. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's what's interesting about Crab, because it fits in Hunter and Beast Druid because there's the obvious Beast synergy.
Yes.
And it also fits into the kind of Murloc Paladin decks, because then you're in a spot where you can just eat up one of your hero power Murlocs after you play the Vulcan Inquisitor, which also feels pretty fantastic.
Right. Okay.
So this time it is Ignite on the Paladin, and this is looking to be, I would say, a much more favourable matchup than against the aggro Druid. He can start off with at least Hydrologist if he wants to keep that in terms of power. But which of these Murloc and Murloc Synergy cards are you going to be keeping?
As I see, I think this is more aggressive style from Ignite's Paladin. I wouldn't keep Negazor and maybe not War Leader because you're running Finja.
Yes, that's true.
I'm thinking of Hydrologist. That's the only question, because you keep the Blade and wow, okay. He disagrees totally. And
I guess the thing is, if you can go 1-drop Murloc, then you have the ability to go coin War Leader into the Rallying Blade, which is really, really powerful.
Yes, if you have the 1-drop, because he didn't have one, so
That's
keeping
true,
the War
that's
Leader
true.
was okay.
But if he's playing Grimscale Chums, you've got such a good chance of finding it, haven't you?
Yeah, if you're playing Grimscale Scum, right? I can't say that.
Chum. Yeah.
Chum, yeah, the Chum.
Just don't call it Grimscale Cum and you'll be fine.
Oh, sorry. In that case, then it might make sense because he has 6 1-drops in total. There's really high chance to draw it from 3 draws if you mulligan 2 cards.
Yeah, a fifth of your deck is 1-drops then at that point. Consecration, definitely the pick here, and it's also a pretty fantastic card to get off of the Glimmerroot.
Yeah, there's no way your opponent plays any other cards.
Yeah. So here, I think the choice is definitely going to end up being Rallying Blade. Fantastically deals with that Glimmerroot and still leaves you with a 3-attack weapon on the following turn. And then after that, you can go Hero Power Rockpool Hunter. You can go Hydrologist Rockpool Hunter. You have so many fantastic choices to go for. And on this turn, what does Geronimo really do? The Priest of the Feast feels kind of weak. Consecration really isn't doing too much. And until turn 6, when that Dragonfire Potion is going to come down, it's just not looking good for Geronimo at all.
As we said before, that Geronimo's deck is really too much value oriented, and this Priest, I think, will struggle a lot against any Ignite's decks. And Ignite didn't play the Murloc Paladin in the preliminaries, so it's new addition to his lineup.
Right. Okay. And I guess that's the benefit of keeping your lineup a little bit more flexible, not bringing the same things every single time. Because Ignite is more of a notable player, perhaps some of these other players could have simply looked up his prelims lineup and thought, okay, maybe he's bringing
Right.
all of these decks. But if he keeps it, keeps them guessing, doesn't bring the same stuff each time, then it's much more difficult for them to predict what he's going to bring.
Yes, I agree. And I think Paladin is still strong, a very strong pick. So, and as we can see, the addition of the three mana weapon, the 3/2, it's really shows off. In this tournament, I think we saw like two instances of it that really carried the game.
Yes.
One was the lethal, and now killing the 3/3.
That's true.
So that was really nice.
It's been doing absolutely fantastically, because at first when people started putting it in, I think it was at DreamHack Austin when a whole bunch of players were putting in the Rallying Blade as well as the Steward of Darkshire and maybe even the Argent Squires to get some of the Divine Shield synergy. But then I think people realized you just don't need the Divine Shields. As a 3-mana weapon, it's perfectly fine just to give you some fantastic board control.
Yeah, it's like Eaglehorn Bow, right?
Exactly. So one turn off of Sunkeeper Terran, which would be very, very nice in order to buff up both of these minions. Well, I suppose it would kind of be about even on the War Leader, but it would give you a buff on the Rockpool Hunter, because the base stats would become a 3/3, and then on top of that, it would become a 4/5 overall. But now on this turn, you are obviously afraid of the Dragonfire Potion, so you're trying to protect yourself as much as possible against that. And that's going to be through cards like Redemption and Guess Away Kodo.
He could have been greedy, for example, and decided to Aldor the 2/3 to save the 4/1. But he plays very nicely around AoE.
That's true. So now on this turn, if Dragonfire Potion is going to come down, it will give back the War Leader, which is massively important.
Right. And the Gateway Kodo is really interesting here because, of course, you hero power, so you don't really want to get the 1/1, but it's really expensive for your opponent to kill that 1/1. If you pain the 1/1, which is now a 3/2, of course, you can't deal with the reminder of the deck.
That's true.
The board, I mean. Yes.
And so just having this Murloc War Leader in hand is going to be so good for Ignite. Even just on this turn, you could go you could go Tidecaller into Hero Power Murloc War Leader. But it seems like, whoa, with this, you're perfectly happy. Because now on the following turn, you can go Hero Power War Leader, you can go Sunkeeper Terran, which is insane in its own right. There has to be some kind of an answer coming through from Geronimo, and it just doesn't look like he has that option at the moment.
Yeah, and the Tarim from the Paladin's deck makes this kind of board really scary. When you look at it, it's nothing basically. It's like 4 damage. Come on,
it's tickling.
Yeah, but when you take into consideration that there's Tarim, it's insane.
Exactly, and he's so scared of that he's going to go for a Potion of Madness purely to remove this 1/1 Murloc off the board, which is very, very low value, but it seems just about important enough. And there is so much value available for Ignite already. The Curator is incredibly powerful. Sunkeeper Tarim, even just on this, you'd be perfectly happy going for.
Yeah. I think the only way Ignite loses this if he decides to go for more value plays. Now, for example, if you go for a Curator, yeah, it's okay, because it's a 4-mana, 4-attack minion that is really devastating for Priest. But even after that, if he decides to somehow make value plays and outvalue Geronimo, I think Geronimo might have a chance.
I think you're absolutely right. So what's the play here? Do you go for Hero Power, War Leader, potentially with an equality as well, actually, just to take care of this Elise, or do you go for Tarim?
Yeah, I don't think I like equality, and War Leader either. I think I would like Curator here, because 1/1 is good enough.
Curator, wow.
Yeah. It's a 4/6. Your opponent can't kill it on board, and you can kill the 1/3 and deny the draw. And the 1/1 is in the way of the 5/5. Yeah, I like it.
And he agrees. I suppose that gives you fantastic follow options over the next few turns. You can be fairly safe, if not certain, given how he's structured his deck, that you will find a Gentle Megasaur, which will be insanely good here. But however, that Potion of Madness does a pretty nice job of making this significantly easier for Geronimo to deal with.
Oh, Lyra.
Oh, especially with Lyra. Absolutely one of the best cards he could have found.
Yeah, it's the best card because you have 2 more spells to play with it.
Yes.
Can you kill it? You have equality, yeah, so you can kill it.
Or even just with Tarim.
Right, yes.
But yes, there are definitely ways that you can deal with this. Maybe you want to save the equality Primordial Drake, but even then, you're very much looking to be ahead on board in the coming turns.
Right, so I think the Tarim should go down here now.
You have 2 of them, I suppose, don't you?
Did you use the Tide Collar or Hero Power? I guess he decides for a Hero Power.
I guess on the following turns, you could go for something like War Leader, Tidecaller, Hero-powered Megasaur. Like, it gives you the ability to get another Murloc on the board in the Gentle Megasaur turn, is the main thing to consider.
But is it stronger than maintaining pressure with 3/3 that gets more attack with the Murloc buffs and everything?
Yeah, of course, it's tough. So here he can go for... There's so many different options here for Ignite. Finja, even just that would be fine, because then you're powering up for an incredibly powerful Gentle Megasaur turn. I think just all you need to do is play around Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah, and as I said, you can't go for the value plays. Well, this is halfway. This is a bit of value with a Finja and a bit of tempo with Aldar. So I can agree with this line of play.
I guess the thing is that if they don't have Dragonfire Potion, you just win here,
Right,
don't you? Because
right.
with the Gentle Megasaur and the Murloc War Leader, like, you can't lose really. And then if they do, you have refill after the fact. You can go for Tyrion on the following turn. You could go for Hero Power, War Leader, Megasaur. There are so many different things that you could do to give you such a good shot of taking this game.
So okay, you can save the 3/1 and use one of the Shadow Visions if you want.
Wow, didn't want to go for Hero Power on it.
So he wants to heal his face.
That can't be right.
It might be, but I don't know.
Having the Elise on board surely is better.
Maybe he just
Maybe
thinks,
I'm wrong.
Maybe he just thinks that the 3/1 dies either way, like because he saw the Curator, so he knows that his opponent probably has Primordial Drake.
Oh yeah, okay. But even then, you don't know that it's going to come in down. They might go for a big Murloc turn. They might go for this. There's other things they can do. However, Geronimo does get the Ungoro pack off the Shadow Visions, which is exactly what he needed in order to come back in this game. And depending on what he gets, that's terrible.
I think if I was Ignite, I would even consider to drop the Drake. Against the Priest, it's so insane that you don't need value from the 2 damage. Of course, you have equality in hand, so it's more safe to go with a forging, of course.
Okay. But look at this from Geronimo. This is so bad. No legendaries gained at all. And all the cards are 3 or less mana. That's so rubbish. You really needed something big there, like another Elise, I don't know, Tyrantus, something big that you can just throw down and pray that your opponent can't deal with. So with the Terrascale Stalker, he's thinking there is just not going to be that much at all that can finish me off, that I can activate the Death Rattle with this, so I'm just going to throw it down just to give myself the biggest board that I possibly can. And with the Consecration, you can just completely decimate this board if you want to use it in combination with the Equality. Follow up with, what do you go for? I don't know, I guess Murloc War Leader?
That's a really uphill battle for a Priest.
It really is. And you don't even really mind going for the Equality to reduce the health of your Tyrion here, because even if they throw down something like a Primordial Drake, you have the Sunkeeper Tarim to reduce any minion they're going to be playing over the next few turns.
But why don't you go Equality Drake there? Like, you want to save the 1/1 so much?
And the Divine Shield from Tyrion. I think overall this is probably better.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if they have something like, I don't know, another Dragonfire Potion, if they've generated a Potion of Madness, something like that, there are things that can definitely go wrong for you.
Well, Dragonfire is lethal for you because you have the weapon and the Primordial.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's true.
But this way sets up lethal also with Murloc War Leader into Megazord.
3 Murlocs presented from the Draconid Operative here, none of which you really want. You have no synergy to go along with them. So I think overall the best statted one is probably the Gentle Megasaur. But even then, I think this is looking pretty much to be game over in Ignite's favor, which is bringing him up to 2-0 in the lead.
Yes, it's 2-0. Huh.
Which is a fantastic spot to be in, because
yes.
the only deck he has left, if I look at it, is his Warrior, which I think will probably be a Pirate Warrior, given the caliber of the rest of his decks. And in that spot, against this really greedy Dragon Priest, he has to seem favored.
Yes, and so far the games are quite convincing. There was no close game yet. It was quite convincing Ignite's favor. So what's the last deck for Ignite?
The last deck for Ignite is his Warrior, which I think is probably a Pirate Warrior.
Yes, it should be. It wouldn't make sense to be a Quest Warrior at this point, with all the aggressive lines.
And we can see after these first cards come down, oh yeah, it's clearly a Taunt Warrior.
With the Leroy edition.
With a Leroy, yeah.
Didn't you read the new patch notes for Hearthstone? The Leroy got taunt.
That would be very interesting to see. They'd start playing in Quest Warrior, in all the defensive decks. I love it.
Yeah. So
it becomes the anti-aggro option.
I think Geronimo doesn't have a single good deck against Pirate Warrior, does he?
What, sorry?
Geronimo doesn't have a single good deck against Pirate Warrior.
What's he got? He's got this Paladin,
Priest?
which can't... Yeah, Paladin is probably his best matchup, to be honest.
Most likely.
Priest can't be favored, and the Druid, which I imagine is Jade Druid, is also pretty sketchy.
Yeah. Oh, a Druid. There is a Druid, yeah.
Druid's okay.
I think there might be any kind of Druid. Maybe he is just wacky and plays a bit of aggro, a bit of control. Who knows? We haven't seen the Druid yet.
Yeah. So here, this is kind of an awkward start for Geronimo, because going with Coin Rockpool Hunter, it leaves him with no option on the following turn other than Hero Power. But maybe because he's going for this play, Geronimo is thinking, right, he'll probably follow up with another Rockpool Hunter. Yes. So I probably want a Heroic Strike to get rid of this, which is a little bit of overkill. But I guess you don't really care, because you're getting in the damage with your little guys over the next turn.
Yes, you want to save your board as much as possible. As a Geronimo, I would probably coin that out also, because I'm really scared of the tempo plays from Warrior. Maybe he just has a 2-3, for example, to follow it up. Then you need something on board.
And I guess you're thinking, if they have Fiery War Act, I'm probably going to lose the game anyway.
Right.
So I just have to assume they don't have it.
Yes, but knowing the hands, if Geronimo held the coin and coined the 3-drop into 3-drop, he would have a really good chance to win this. Because Ignite's hand is really atrocious. It's not that good even.
Yeah, it's really, really not. He can follow up with Greenskin on turn 5 to buff up this Rusty Hook to 2-3, because I think we're very likely to see Mortal Strike on this turn. Even though it's massive overkill, this stat line, it deals the right amount of damage, but it feels really bad going for this on a Stonehill Defender. It's such a rubbishy minion.
It feels nice for me, because usually you save Mortal Strike to go face, right? So it deals 4 or 6 damage.
I guess so.
And now you deal 5 with it, basically.
That's
and save the minions.
I like your thinking. Very optimistic of you, Surus.
Optimistic aggro player.
I feel great.
Yeah, all I need is Leroy with Taunt.
And then I will win for sure.
Yes.
But now here, loading up... Interesting that he's going for the Cold Light Seer rather than the Murloc War Leader there.
Well, it's
because if you go
the
for the
same...
War Leader...
Yeah.
Because then your opponent's not going to be trading into this Vulcan Inquisitor either way.
Yes, but he would kill the 3-3 quite easily, and now you have more Morlocks.
Yes,
And 3 HP is the same as the War Leader, so you don't make your opponent trade, but you have more trading potential next turn.
All right. So we're seeing some very powerful Murloc synergies coming down on this turn, which means that we'll be able to take a value trade on Greenskin and clear off one of the deck hands, which means if some kind of a taunt comes down from Geronimo, things are going to be looking rough, to say the least, for Ignite, and that's exactly what the potential is for Geronimo on the following turn
Oh my.
with the Sunkeeper Tarim.
So he actually has a slight chance, like not a bad one either.
Yes, very, very possible. If he can pick up a Spike Ridge Seed on the turn in between the Tarim and the Tyrion, he's looking to be in actually a pretty decent spot.
And this decision right now, if he kills the, if he decides to kill the war leader or he goes face, might dictate the game.
What is the correct play in your opinion?
I would kill the war leader, I think.
What's your reasoning for that?
Well, because if you don't kill the war leader, you just lose the board. Like, there's no comeback. If you kill the war leader, he has trouble killing your minions.
That's very true. All of his minions go down to 2 attack, don't they?
Yeah, so he has to spend something, like all his turn probably, to kill your board. And now he doesn't have to spend anything to kill your board. He has all his turn, all his mana to gain life, gain taunts, gain anything basically.
And here with the Tarim, he can take value trades on every single one of your minions.
Right.
You'll be left with 1 minion at the end of it.
Yeah, will he remember that the Tarim raises the HP of the Morlocks though?
I very much hope he does, because killing off... Well, actually, they're all going to go to 3/3, so it doesn't actually matter which ones you kill off first, does it?
Yes. Yeah, so he made the correct trades. That's nice.
He does it correctly, yeah. That's absolutely right. It really didn't matter whether he... Oh, no, this way, because then you... It's better to do it this way, because then you end up with less 5/1s. So, yeah, overall, the correct play.
Oh, one turn too late. One turn too late. Well, he can kill the taunt, and your opponent doesn't have another one.
And then you just pray that you get a charger.
But
you have
lethal.
a very decent shot of it.
But it's lethal from the Geronimo side, right?
Is it?
I think so. 7 mana, you can War Leader, and it's way over lethal.
You're right, that's it. Wow.
Yeah. Nice.
So close.
Yeah, I think it was a bad draw from Ignite side, of course. It was not according to his plan.
Yeah, exactly. You got things like the upgrade and the Captain Greenskin, but no Fiery War Axe on which to stick those upgrades on, which is a little bit unfortunate. And you'd obviously much rather start off with the N'Zoth's First Mate rather than the South Sea Deckhand. But overall, you're not too sad.
Yeah, it was a close game, definitely.
Yes, indeed.
It's interesting. It's still possible to reverse sweep the Pirate Warrior if he draws patches, for example, or doesn't get the War Axes with upgrades early on. Which one is better now? Is it Priest or Druid? Well, we don't know what kind of Druid this is, right?
That's true. We don't know. I think we can assume it's probably a Jade Druid, given the slower, more controlling nature of the rest of his decks. But
he decides to go with a Priest.
Goes with the Priest. Maybe he thinks that's his best bet, or maybe he's just getting his worst matchup out the way first. It doesn't really matter, given that this is obviously the Conquest format, but right away this is looking to be a much more promising hand from Ignite.
Yes, and if it's Jade Druid, I want to state that out, that Jade Druid has a really good fighting chance against Pirate Warrior.
Definitely.
Yeah, nowadays I think it's even has a slight advantage.
Wow, advantage?
Yes, I would say it like 55 at least, like, well... Not at least, like exactly 55, or 50-50, or 55 in favor of Druid.
So a slight advantage.
Yeah.
But wow, now we're seeing the anti-aggro side of this deck coming through from Geronimo. He's drawn 4 cards that you absolutely want in this matchup.
Yeah, and we see insane start from Ignite though. So we saw a game before that was like bad starts from both players. Now we see insane starts for both players. We'll see how this pans out.
It would be really interesting to see which side ends up on top in the deck, where you're drawing exactly what you want on both sides. The Potion of Madness obviously deals fantastically with the N'Zoth's First Mate and patches, but you still end up with a Rusty Hook out of the deal. So maybe you're happier as Ignite rather than Geronimo. So here you can load up in a pretty large fashion against the to prepare for a South Sea Captain to come down on the following turn. And also, even if there is another Potion of Madness, it's not that bad on this board all of a sudden.
Yeah. Will he bait himself and play the Ooze now, or he will save it for the Arcanite Reaper?
It's interesting that he's gone for the Acidic Swamp Ooze rather than the Gluttonous Ooze, because that definitely usually seems to be the pick at the moment rather than the Swamp Ooze.
It's interesting indeed. In a more controlly variant, maybe it's better to have some cheaper cards because you have a lot of value, high cost minions, and you
Well, yeah,
have to fit.
control variant, you'd rather have Harrison, wouldn't you? I think.
Right, but it's another more expensive card, and
Yes, that's true.
as we saw before, Geronimo always has like full hand of cards with.
Yes, very heavy. Yeah.
So maybe just fitting in some small minions to throw out is nice.
Ooh, that'll be very nice on the next few turns to get that thrown down. But at the moment, this is a really tough choice for Ignite. You can go for the South Sea Captain, and I suppose that is probably the best play because then you can take the value trade on this Talon Priest, which feels pretty good indeed. I was thinking of the 3 health stat, but given that you can take the value trade here, this definitely feels like the play.
Yes, and 4-1. Anytime you can make a 4 attack minion against Priest. It's good.
That's true. That's true indeed. So, Shadow-Word Pain definitely feels like the play right now to remove that captain. That is simply too much pressure coming towards you. And then following up once again with just a heal. He smells that Arcanite Reaper in the hand of Ignite and feels like he has to save it for that. But once again, a perfect top deck for Ignite.
Yes. So I like that Geronimo is dedicated to save the ooze. He's not half playing his plan. He's just, okay, I'm saving it for a better weapon. No matter what.
That's true. He's sticking to his game plan at least, which was kind of the problem we had with some of the players earlier on.
Yeah. It's a good top deck. The Elemental lets him play the shields for free. You definitely played the second one, right?
Yes. He's just wondering if you play it on the Cleric or not.
Oh,
because you can still
okay.
heal after that.
What can you get that you wouldn't want to play the Cleric? Something with that would cost 2 mana, like another Pain?
Yep, yeah. Oh,
He gets it, nice.
Wow, and then you go for that and heal.
Yes, I think healing is better than 1-3, right? Because your opponent is never trading, he's going face all the time.
That's right. And if you're going to gain back the board, it will be through something like a Dragonfire Potion or maybe a Potion of Madness, something like that, to get some kind of combat trick onto the board.
No, 2 HP.
There's benefit to this play. You can see the reasoning, but I think it is pretty much going to lead to a win in Ignite's favor. This damage coming through now means that it's going to be, 9, 10, 11, leaving his opponent on 3 health. That would have to be a complete board clear and a heal if he wants to stay alive at all. And a weapon removal.
And he trades! So...
Wow.
If this was Gluttonous Ooze, he would win the game here, I think. Well, okay, maybe not win. Maybe yeah, winning is overstating, but still, gaining 5 armor would be insane.
Well, that's it.
Ignite takes it. 3-1.
3 games to 1, and he is going to be the champion of the Zotac Cup European Hearthstone tournament. Fantastically done from him. His extremely aggressive lineup ends up working out for him.
Very well played by both players, I believe. I didn't see any crucial mistakes anyone made, and the control player couldn't do much because it was really unfavored matchups for him.
I think overall, I'm glad that Ignite won because we saw some nice strategies coming through and some nice games from Geronimo. But overall, his play we felt could have been better.
Yeah, sometimes.
And perhaps going, and I think overall, perhaps going for such a greedy priest deck was maybe not the way to go for it because you are going to be going up against some control-y decks. But overall, you have to be afraid of aggro.
But
and
that
even when he drew the perfect anti-aggro hand, he still couldn't take it.
Yeah, it was, because it's really weak against Pirate Warrior, and that's why you don't ban Priest when you play aggro. It's a lesson to be had. Oh, yeah.
That's the message today. Don't ban Priest.
Yeah, but remembering the game when he had insane value against Taunt Warrior, that was insane match with a Miracle Priest. With the double pack. One was burned and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was really nice matches. It was nice casting with you, Derek.
Very enjoyable as ever, Saurus.
Yeah. And thank you guys for watching. This was Zotac Cup finals. And see you on the next one, probably, maybe, I don't know.
I think we will. The next one will be Southeast Asia. We don't know when that's going to be yet, but make sure to follow me or Suras on Twitter, and we'll make sure to tweet out when we're going to do it.
Yeah, so thank you guys, and see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye.